Crypto's general manager, sits down with us to discuss the new deal to acquire a Canadian crypto firm. And PayPal's Jose Fernandez de Ponte breaks down the online payment system's crypto plans. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Mackenzie Sigalos here at Consensus 2025 in Toronto, Canada. Now, we'll have more on this conference in just a bit, but first, let's take a quick look at markets. Prices are mixed this morning, with Bitcoin trading flat, holding on to the $103,000 level. Ether, however, climbed more than 1% to just under $2,600, and XRP rose less than 1%. Now, quick note about a new stock with a focus on crypto. Israel-based brokerage platform eToro debuted on the Nasdaq today under the ticker ETOR. The stock began trading just before 12:30 Eastern and immediately soared by 40%. Shares were priced at $52,
40%,
above the initially
jeez.
expected range of $46 to $50. eToro previously planned an IPO in March, but set those plans aside amid tariff uncertainty. You can check for the latest on the company's new stock at CNBC.com. All right, back to Consensus for our main story, which has gone international this year, taking place first in Hong Kong in February and now in Toronto. The vibe is a little different, shifting from a cultural conference for crypto's most ardent fans to one for the financial world too. Lots of big names on stage like the CEO of WisdomTree and the digital asset leads for both JP Morgan and Citi. JP Morgan and Ondo Finance using the conference to roll out a new partnership to tokenize real-world assets, a $100 billion bet on blockchain's future. Consensus also features speakers from Coinbase, Bitfarms, and more. Now, to kick things off, I sat down with the general manager of Robinhood Crypto, Johan Cabrat, to discuss yesterday's news that the retail trading platform agreed to acquire the Canadian crypto firm WonderFi for nearly $180 million. WonderFi operates 2 regulated crypto exchanges in Canada. The acquisition is expected to close in the second half of this year, subject to regulatory approvals and approvals by WonderFi's shareholders. Johan spoke about the acquisition and what else is in store for Robinhood Crypto, especially as it relates to the company's continued global expansion. So we're here in Toronto, and you just announced that you'll be acquiring WonderFi, which is a Canadian-based firm. What's the thinking behind this deal, and how does it expand Robinhood's crypto offering?
Yeah, well, overall, the main point is that Canada is a very attractive market for us. It is projected to be more than 30 million users using crypto here in Canada, and the revenue projection for like all the actors combined is about 900 million in 2025. So for us, we thought that it was a very attractive market. And then when you look at WonderFi, they have 2 of the longest standing crypto products here in Canada, and they also have a license, an investment dealer license from Ciro, which I think is really important. It shows that they've been working with the regulator and they've been able to bring products safely to customers.
Now, earlier this week, you were at the SEC on Monday for one of the roundtables hosted under Paul Atkins, the new chair, discussing tokenization. And it's pretty fascinating to see Robinhood's evolution in terms of your relationship with that regulator, going from having a Wells notice to then being asked to discuss tokenization. Walk me through how that relationship has matured.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've seen like how the relationship has changed. It was an honor to be there on Monday, really being able to discuss about a real problem, which I think is how do we use the crypto technology or the blockchain technology to actually improve the traditional finance system that has never really changed in the past 10, 20 years. And we see how tokenization of stablecoin, for example, like of currency, has been helpful. How many people are able to use stablecoin now to actually transfer 24/7 without any concern around reversal or fraud or anything like this. And we think at Robinhood that it's actually
it's not working.
Can bring a lot more traditional assets on chain using tokenization. The conversation with the SEC was very open-minded. There was a lot of discussion, pros and cons, and I think it's really great to see the regulatory environment changing in the US and catching up with some of the competitors internationally.
What kind of questions was Paul Atkins asking you during that session?
Well, Paul Atkins actually did an address at the very beginning, really explaining how tokenization can change the financial system. And some of the debates were really around the risk and the advantages.
This is why I don't like TikTok, man. It's just a bad OBS.
So I think, having this debate here in the US is really important and shows that we want to embrace the technology instead of just regulating it and turning it off like it was before.
Now, earlier today,
I don't know why it's not working.
Morgan announced that they'd be working together on tokenizing real-world assets. Your CEO, Vlad Tenev, has talked a lot about tokenizing private equity markets. What do you need from the
This is
SEC
why you got to
and
come to
perhaps other
Twitch.
regulators to make that possible, and what's realistic this year, in a few years?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few
Yeah, thank you for coming along. I appreciate having you, Hunglo. And don't forget to become a subscriber. Subscribe to the channel.
Or can we just use the underlying asset to register? There is how are we going to treat the DeFi aspect? So there's a lot of talking points, and I think it will take quite some time to get the right structure.
Had to leave
from,
TikTok, couldn't hear it. Yeah.
But you also see like around the world.
And I do apologize for that, but something is wrong with TikTok. I don't know why. It's not working. It should be working.
Other countries as well. So I think at this point, they are doing the right thing. They are engaging with companies like ours and, like the few that you mentioned. And I think from there we can work together and build like the right setup for everyone to succeed.
Now we've seen revised guidance from the SEC, but also the OCC, the FDIC, the Fed, and this has certainly changed the way that banks are thinking about working in blockchain tech. But how are you guys leveraging this more favorable regulatory environment at Robinhood?
Well, we have always worked very well with the government. We worked under different administration. We are registered by the SEC, by FINRA on the brokerage side. On the
Yes, this is why we have Twitch.
License and many licenses across the globe as well. So,
I'll look at Bitcoin in a minute.
The main focus is to make sure that we are building the products that regulators are comfortable with, and also that our customers are wanting. And the first thing we want to make sure.
Let me
that
see
we
if the
offer all
IT guy's here yet.
Our customers are asking for, and working with the regulator to make sure we can do it safely.
What's your strategy for scaling crypto staking and lending?
So right now we have staking in the EU, and it's something that has been very embraced by our customer. I think what they like about it is not just the getting the reward, but they like to participate into the network. They like to feel good about the fact that they are helping secure the Ethereum or the Solana network. And so
you're the only person. You're not the only person that was having audio issues, though.
Educate themselves, to really understand what staking really means, and we'll keep developing this offering.
So we're here a couple blocks away from the Toronto Stock Exchange, which is very much the business capital of Canada. And in so many respects, this country really was a first mover in crypto adoption. The first spot crypto ETFs were both launched on the TSX. Beyond WonderFi and your recent acquisition,
all right, IT guy is here.
Conversations you're looking forward to having here in Toronto?
Well, I mean, we're all here at the Consensus Conference, and it's really exciting to see like everyone being here and working towards like this adoption of crypto and making it like a mainstream asset. I think for us, being here, being able to announce the acquisition just yesterday, and being able to discuss with everybody about, how do we bring the mission of Robinhood into Canada is extremely exciting.
Now, I also sat down with Jose Fernandez de Ponte, General Manager of the Blockchain, Crypto, and Digital
TikTok seller, thank you for the swan.
Back in September, the company announced that
Mother
it
of
was
Dragons, thank you for the
allowing
heart
US
me.
merchants to buy, hold, and sell crypto from their business accounts. We discussed how that's going and what else is in store for PayPal. So at PayPal, you're leading efforts in everything to do with Web3 and crypto, and one big project was getting PYUSD off the ground, PayPal's US dollar peg.
We need 4 more swans.
It's been live now for a year and a half, and you spent another year and a half
4
to 2 years
more
with
swans
before that to get all the regulatory approval. In terms of where you go from here, it seemed as though we were so close to getting stablecoin legislation, and then that stalled out in Capitol Hill. Does that even affect, though, what you're trying to achieve with PYUSD?
I think that getting that legislation in place is fundamentally important, not only for us, but for the sector in the U.S. more generally. If you think of what we are trying to do,
we're having an audio issue.
We're trying to make sure that PayPal and Venmo are the
So there's no
gateway
audio.
to get more people into crypto. We are very aware that the uniqueness of what we have is for 100 million consumers and merchants and the distribution access. A lot of people that we have on the crypto side are first-time crypto users. There's a ton of people who are saying, hey, I'm intrigued by Bitcoin or ETH. I'm going to put $100 on it. I don't know the other companies in the sector, but I know PayPal. I trust it. So a lot of people get into crypto through us, and that leads us to continue to add tokens. We added Sol and Link recently. We will continue to add stuff. So making the PayPal and Venmo wallet a mainstream destination is an important one. The other two are mostly about the stablecoin for payments. So it's important for us that our stablecoin is available everywhere. Crypto capital markets are one place.
Okay, audio should be fixed.
There is competition in stablecoins.
Thank you.
And that's why we are doing
round of applause for the IT guy.
The third one that has to goes back to the legislation is we want hundreds of millions of wallets, hundreds of millions of people carrying stablecoins in their wallets to pay. And to provide that security, it is important that there is legislation in place. We are seeing that in the UK and in Europe and in Japan and in Singapore, and being able to get to conclusion in the US would be a very, very important feat.
Now, you mentioned your recent deal that you struck with Coinbase.
Yes.
What's the significance of that for PYUSD and for your customers?
Well, think about it. We have a lot of consumers and a lot of merchants. We are not big players in the institutional investment space. Coinbase has that. If all of a sudden you can connect two platforms where you get consumers and merchants and institutional investors, and then you can remove the friction and remove fees to buy PYUSD and make that available everywhere, it drives liquidity, and liquidity drives cost down and drives adoption. So we think it's a very, very good combination of putting a merchant network and an investor network together and see what the network effects, how they expand.
Now, PYUSD's market cap has kind of fluctuated. You
Yeah.
hit the $1 billion mark, then it came down to below 500 million. It's come back up since then. Now, you had some incentives around that, which drove people into using the token. But what's the long-term plan? Because right now the market is still very much dominated by Tether and USDC. So where is PYUSD's place in this?
So as you were saying, it went over $1 billion, came down now, is about 900 million or so. The market is very enamored with market cap for a couple of reasons. And I think the one is relevant and the other is less relevant. The less relevant one is that traditionally stablecoin issuers make money from the yield on the reserve. If that's the way you make money, you care a lot about market cap, because more assets on the reserve, more yield, the stablecoin issuer makes more money. We have many other ways to monetize the stablecoin, so we are less interested in that part, and eventually that part is going to get competed away. The second reason why size is important is liquidity. Size drives liquidity. You don't want the slippage when you're moving between the stable coins or when you're moving from crypto to stable coin. So there's a minimum scale that we think is relevant. I don't believe that you're going to see 300 stable coins that matter. A minimum scale is going to be important. I also don't think that you're going to see two that matter. So we definitely want to be bigger than we are today, but we look at 4 numbers, and market cap is only 1. So we look at market cap, we look at the number of on-chain transfers, and we're doing about 4 or 5 billion in on-chain transfer volume every month, which is highly relevant. We look at the number of transactions. There are 1.5 million transactions every month happening on PYUSD, and we look at the number of active wallets, which is in the range of 40 to 50,000. So all those things, you need liquidity, but then you need activity. We don't want hundreds of millions of PYUSD just sitting there as collateral, not doing much. We want it to move around and to interact and moving from wallet to wallet.
Last year, you rolled out more of a crypto strategy with merchants where they could accept crypto. What does that look like? What does adoption look like? Is it popular? Is it,
It is popular, especially because, again, we're removing friction. If you're going to a merchant today and you say, hey, you should accept stablecoin payments or crypto payments in general, they're going to look at that and say, yeah, I understand it's going to be cheaper, but I have a ton in my product roadmap. Where do I slot it? How many incremental customers? What we did last year by enabling crypto checkout is that basically they don't need to do anything. Say, hey, look, you get it. It's a freebie. You don't need to change your integration. You don't need to do anything different. And you will keep accepting fiat. So put it out there and see what happens. And we are starting to see transactions and consumers who want to pay. We will be expanding that. We want to be able to do more of that, because when you tell to a merchant, I've never seen a merchant who's adding an additional payment method because it was cheaper. The reason for a merchant to accept a new payment method is always incremental business. It's how much more revenue, how many additional consumers we're going to get. And the moment that you go there and say, look, there are 100 million consumers out there who are holding stable coins in their wallets. And most of them, they're not in the US. So you want to open up your business and get traffic from Asia, from Africa, from South America, with a very easy integration. This is a very good way to do it. So removing that friction and opening up that new user base, I believe that's what is going to do the trick and get merchants. More companies. So we are doing it. Other payments companies are starting to do it. So it's starting to be in the water supply a little bit, but it will take time. I don't like crypto winters. I think that we need to keep the right time perspective here. As we have said before, we are in year 5 of a 10-year journey. These things will take time.
It's gonna take time.
That's all for Crypto World today, but be on the lookout for more conversations from this conference.
Gonna take
Eric
time,
Trump,
people.
the co-founder of the
This stuff does not happen overnight. All right, so let's look at Bitcoin. Oh yeah, Bitcoin looks nice, 104. And that would indicate that Bitcoin dominance has gone down. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. It's about the same altcoin season, but look at we were over here and we're falling away from altcoin season. So I'd say Bitcoin dominance is still pretty strong. I think July we should move over here into the altcoin season, then by November we'll be in the blue. That all lines up with the timeline. Let's it contains unoriginal reproduced content. I just got hit with guidelines. More appeals. Just got hit with guidelines because we watched a little video. You know, why can't we watch a video and talk about it? I don't understand it. How can you find out if whales are buying into XOP? It's whale alert, I think. Let's see here. I know they have one for Bitcoin, but let's see. Ripple, boom. 1.8 billion. Let me see here. Give me a moment. Dang, we got hit with guidelines again. I got the link right here, man. It's called Whale Alert. You go up here to blockchain. You're going to put in Ripple. That's going to bring up XRP there, but there's no data available. I generally, when there's a whale alert, Trading View will come up with one. You click on this little lightning bolt on Trading View, and it'll usually pop up right here. Let me see here. I'm not seeing any whale alert, so there may not be too much, but there is analytics that you can follow with that. But generally, it's not anything happening that is necessarily indicating that something big is happening unless it's in here. And click more events. Ukraine drafts bill to add Bitcoin to war chest as a national reserve next. Ukraine's potential Bitcoin reserve indicates a shift towards financial self-sovereignty. The draft bill not only proposes holding Bitcoin, but also opens the door for sweeping legal reforms that could define Ukraine's digital asset framework for decades to come. That's interesting. That is interesting. All right, let's see here. More news. So we were talking about Walmart, right? Let's see what Walmart, what's going on with Walmart? Let's read this. India disputes Trump's claim it is ready to charge U.S. no tariffs. We did read, I think it was yesterday or the day before, India is proposing retaliatory tariffs, and India disputes Trump's claim it is ready to charge U.S. no tariffs. Let's watch the video.
I had a little problem with Tim Cook yesterday. I said to him, Tim, you're my friend. I treated you very good. You're coming in with $500 billion, but now I hear you're building all over India. I don't want you building in India. You can build in India if you want to take care of India, because India is one of the highest tariff nations in the world. It's very hard to sell into India. And they've offered us a deal where basically they're willing to literally charge us no tariff. So we go from the highest tariff, you couldn't do business in India. We're not even a top 30 in India because the tariff is so high, to a point where they have actually told us, I assume you too, Scott, you were working on that also, that there will be no tariff, right? Would you say that's a difference? They're the highest, and now they're saying no tariff. But I said to Tim, look, we've treated you really good. We put up with all the plants that you built in China for years. Now you got to build us. We're not interested in you building in India. India can take care of themselves. They're doing very well. We want you to build here, and they're going to be upping their production in the United States. Apple.
That's interesting. So no tariffs from India. That would be that would probably be one of the best deals and we don't need to read it. We heard it from the horse's mouth. But that would be very, very good trade deal. But nothing's set in stone yet. There are no nothing that indicates that that's what's going to be the case. At least not yet. Let's watch this little video here.
We will do our best to keep our prices as low as possible. But given the magnitude of the tariffs, even at the reduction announced this week, we aren't able to absorb all the pressure given the reality of narrow retail margins. We're positioned to manage the cost pressure from tariffs as well or better than anyone. But even at the reduced levels, the higher tariffs will result in higher prices.
All right, so Walmart warns it will raise prices because of tariffs. They will raise prices for any reason they can. Any company, they have everything to gain from raising prices because they never bring them back down. They get you used to paying them, and even if the tariffs do go away, they are going to hold on to that because that is going to make them filthy rich. Now, based off of that, listen to this interview.
Well, Walmart closing lower today, but off its lows of the session. The nation's largest retailer delivering a quarterly earnings beat and stuck by its full-year forecast. But Walmart also announcing price hikes that could start as early as next week. The reason? Tariffs.
Big Baller, thank you for subscribing on Twitch.
Products, including toys and bananas. CFO John David Rainey telling CNBC that Walmart is trying to navigate the best that we can. Here to talk price increases, tariffs, and more. Bill Simon,
thank you for
former Walmart
handling
U.S.
that
CEO.
for
Bill
me.
is now on Darden's board and is
Yes,
chairman
there's
of
bad
Hanes
news from the
Brands.
SEC
Bill, always
case.
great to get your input, especially on Walmart. Great to see you.
Great to see you. How are you?
Good. So, 90% of Americans are customers of Walmart. Should we expect price increases? Because you say that Walmart really theoretically should be able to absorb a lot of the costs of the tariffs. Why is it announcing price increases?
Well, I think they'll probably raise prices episodically on certain items. But if you look down deep and dig into the details of their earnings release today, this quarter they grew their gross profit margin in the U.S. business 25 basis points. So they're expanding their margin. They also reported their general merchandise categories were flat-ish because they had mid-single-digit price deflation. So all that product that has the tariffs on it, they reported last quarter actually went down in price. So that sort of gives them room, in my view, to manage any tariff impact that they would have. And I think they're really, really effective at doing that.
They're the best, without question. But let's take it to 30,000. What's your view on just now the state of the consumer, given everything that Walmart just said? We've heard from a slew of different people. Going to pass on costs. They're going to try to What do you make of all this? Because I don't think the consumer's in a particularly good spot.
Yeah, I don't think, you look at the drivers of the middle of the economy. The upper end is different, but the middle of the economy is very job employment dependent and very gas price dependent. And both of those numbers keep coming back pretty good. We're near full employment, so everybody who wants a job has one. Gas prices year on year are down. I think the consumer is fairly buoyant, and housing costs, which were a real catastrophe 24 months ago, have sort of peaked and started to head down. So I think the consumer feels pretty good on the one hand. On the other hand, all the doom and gloom we hear about price increases and tariffs, like we heard from my friends at Walmart today, I think it scares them some.
Do you think that Target is going to be particularly hurt in this sort of environment as Walmart is able to hold prices lower?
Target has the disadvantage of having a much bigger, as you well know, general merchandise, non-food business, and the non-food categories are typically very heavily import dependent, and depending on where their footprint is these days, most retailers, including Target, mitigated some of their China risk several years ago when the first round of China tariffs were put into place. But a lot of them still have exposure to places like Vietnam, and those tariffs are still, out there and pending. I think Target will have a much more difficult time mitigating and absorbing the tariff costs than say Walmart or Costco that have a much bigger food business.
So, Bill, during your tenure, you had some manufacturing initiatives with Walmart. There's obviously a higher premium buyer now, above $100,000 yearly salary for people that are shopping at Walmart. That's a big part of their revenues. What can retailers do to prevent the next pandemic, the next tariff war? What can they get ahead of here?
Manufacturing is a math equation, right? It's input costs, labor costs, transportation costs, sum it all up and get it to the customer at the best possible price. And for many, many years, because of the low labor costs and a relatively low labor costs in markets like Asia, and relatively low transportation costs and oil prices, it resulted in the shifting of the manufacturing base, as we well know. The tariff situation didn't help it. It had been discussed but never implemented at all. And that math equation is changing with an emerging middle class in Asia. The labor rates in Asia are rising as the consumerism rises. Oil prices are now, and fuel prices, transportation costs aren't as cheap as they once were. So that equation's changing, and companies have to constantly look at that equation and find out where's the best place to produce to get the product to the customer at the most efficient way. Closest to the point of consumption is the most efficient, and now it's becoming increasingly the most cost effective.
Bill, I always play Would You Rather with you, and we're going to do it tonight again, if you will. Walmart, Target, or pick another retailer. Which is best poised to weather tariffs?
Best to weather the tariffs would be Walmart. Best, I think, from an investment standpoint.
There's no reason
Target's
for them to raise
down.
prices. Like you said,
Walmart
is poised to handle something like this.
I think if
they
you
make
can find
more
a way
money
to,
than they've ever made.
Sort of stomach a long play on
And
Target, you'll do really well.
They still are going to use
Always
any
great to have
excuse
you,
to
Bill.
raise the
Thank
price.
you. Bill Simon, who likes Target.
I never thought he'd say that.
I'm glad we tag teamed on that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, they don't care. Excuse me. They don't care about people. They don't care about anything. They know that they have an excuse that they can raise the prices right now, and they're going to do it. They're going to do it. Of course they're going to do it. Why wouldn't they? It's evil and dirty, but it's crazy. So that was something someone asked about earlier. And Morgan Brittle asked, why is XRP dumping? What's up, Eric? And don't forget, guys, if you're watching on TikTok, send in the heart me's. The gifts are great too, but when you send a heart me, it does help me much more with TikTok. And we are dealing with the shadow ban, so it will help very much. So there's a little heart next to my name there. You'll see my little logo up at the top, Ozthecryptogoat, and there's a little heart next to it. And if you send a heart me, that is going to help me exponentially. So please help out in that way if you can. But Morgan Brittle wondered why XRP is dumping today. The judge did not appeal or did not approve the dropping of the SEC case. That is why. We covered that earlier. And don't forget, Morgan, if you did miss a portion of the show, you can always go and rewatch it later on YouTube. So after the live, they will be uploaded directly onto YouTube, and you can rewatch all of that. So, yeah, take advantage of those videos on YouTube, guys. If you miss a show, obviously you can't be in every live, but you can always go back and check and rewatch. All right, let's see here. More news. And we got flagged for guidelines. It's crazy. This is interesting. Satellite images don't lie. China is quietly building the largest military complex on Earth, and it's already massive. I got to renew my subscription. Yeah, don't forget to renew your subscription. Thank you for the heart me, Eric. Much appreciated. Become a deluxe subscriber, and you get access to those daily price point videos, and you can also message me directly for daily coaching. And as a deluxe subscriber, you can sign up for the email alert system, where you can receive alerts through your email that you can customize with a special ringtone or whatever, and make sure that it's prioritized so that it always goes off. So you have more control with those alerts, because TikTok does not always alert you when I post those daily price point videos. And sometimes they happen at 2, 3 in the morning, and a lot of people miss them because they're sleeping, or TikTok doesn't put the notification through. So by setting up the email notification system, you are able to get alerted every time I post something. And you'll also be alerted when we go live. And there'll be more to it later on. It'll be maybe a newsletter or something too. It's still in development. As for right now, it's an alert system to help make sure that you get those daily price point sub only videos notifications, because time is money. So if you're looking to sign up for the email list, it is $1.99 a month, and all you have to do is be a deluxe subscriber and message me with your email, and I will send you all the information how to get it set up. So satellite images don't lie. China is quietly building the largest military complex on Earth, and it's massive. In a dramatic escalation of its military ambitions, China is constructing the world's largest underground command center. A move has sparked international concern and intensified geopolitical tensions in Asia. Obviously, this is an AI rendering right here. In a nutshell, we're going to read the in a nutshell part. China is constructing the world's largest underground military compound center, signaling its strategic ambitions. The new facility raises concerns about regional security and the shift in balance of power in Asia. Project showcases Chinese technological prowess and could influence global military strategies. The development prompts nations to reassess their military strategies, potentially leading to increased rivalry or dialogue. Very interesting. The underground cities are real, ladies and gentlemen. They are real. This is real stuff. It's happening. And I'm sure a few weeks ago when I covered that, some people probably didn't believe it, but as time goes on, you're going to find more validity in the things I tell you. The tunnels are your favorite, bro. The tunnels are just the tip, bro. We got so much more to cover, so many more stories, so many things you guys would not believe if I told you. And that's why we have to work up to you all understanding, leaving you a breadcrumb trail, so that way you find the validity in the things that I tell you. But also, I'll be releasing them obviously prior to things.
Oh, no shit.
Or as they unfold.
I didn't know that.
But,
pretty nifty.
Yeah, the more likes you get, in all of this stuff, and I've seen it firsthand. I know what they're doing and how they communicate and how they do things. And this is going to enlighten you. Continue to enlighten you and educate you in what is literally happening right in front of everyone every single day. But their eyes aren't open to it yet, and they don't quite understand it yet. They don't know what they're seeing when they see it. And that's the point. That's why they do it in the way they do it. And don't forget, we will be doing a Twitch-only live at the end of the show. Just the last little bit, we're going to talk about the NDA stuff. So come on over there. We'll go over that one more little tidbit, and maybe we'll jump down another rabbit hole if something comes up. But I think the next, I haven't decided what the next breadcrumb is that I need to give you all, but there is definitely, we are due for a new breadcrumb, and all of these stories one day will all link together, and it will give you broader, greater understanding to what is happening. So don't miss out on the Twitch only live. It's the only place that I can tell you guys because TikTok won't allow me to do it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have Twitch. We'd just stay on TikTok. But the censorship is just out of control. All right, let's see here. Oh, excuse me. Trump suggests U.S. should take Gaza and turn it into a freedom zone. During business roundtable in Qatar on Tuesday, May 16th, President Donald Trump once again suggested a U.S. takeover of Gaza as a way of attempting to redevelop the Palestinian territory. His words, "I think I'd be proud to have the United States have it, take it, make it a freedom zone, let some good things happen, put people in homes where they can be safe, and Hamas is going to have to deal with it," said Trump during a roundtable interview with Qatar officials in the presence of reporters. He continued, "I have concepts for Gaza. I think they're very good. Make it a freedom zone. Listen, I have concepts for Gaza that I think are very good. Make it a freedom zone. Let the United States get involved." I'm going to start doing the Trump quotes in the Trump voice. I think it'll be more hilarious. Per the CNN, president went on to add, they never solved the Gaza problem, and you look at it, they never solved the Gaza problem, and if you look at it, I have aerial shots. I mean, there are practically no buildings standing there. No buildings. People are living under a rubble of buildings that collapsed, which is not acceptable. It's tremendous death. All I want to see is that be a freedom zone. Trump's comments come aimed reports of multiple airstrikes hitting Gazan city of Khan overnight into Tuesday, breaking down Trump's plan. This is not the first time the president has put forward ideas about the future of Gaza, which currently governed by Hamas. In January, while talking to promoters on Air Force One, Trump said he wanted Jordan and Egypt to take in Palestine, suggested clean it out. We're going to make it all clean. It's going to be beautiful. of the Gaza Strip. You're talking about probably 1.5 billion people. We just clean out the whole thing. I don't know. Something has to happen, but literally a demolition site right now. The idea prompted a strong rebuke from Arab nations. When the Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visited the White House on February, Trump once again shared his vision for the war-torn location. The U.S. will take the Gaza Strip. We will go. We'll do a good job with it. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous bombs and weapons over there. It's a horrific sight. I added that in. We'll level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs, a house for for the people in the area. It's going to be great. When asked what authorities would allow the U.S. to carry out this idea and whether he was talking about a permanent occupation there, Trump replied, "I don't see a long-term ownership position. And I see it bringing great stability to the part of the Middle East and maybe even the entire Middle East." Trump went on to say that was not a decision lightly made and claimed everybody I've been spoken to loves the idea of the United States owning that piece of land. No one's coming inside Gaza as Israel expands its military control. Standing next to Trump, Netanyahu said that one of Israel's main goals was to make sure Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again, adding that Trump offer would be taking this goal to a much higher level. I think it's worth paying attention to this, Netanyahu concluded. Later in February, President Trump shared an AI video on social media platform Truth Social depicting Trump Gaza. The video included AI-generated images of a golden statue of the U.S. president in Gaza, luxury cars and skyscrapers in a reconstructed Gaza Strip. Oh, excuse me. I'm still struggling from the pneumonia. It's definitely got a lot better, but oh man, it's just been lingering. Eric, thank you for the heart me. TikTok seller, thank you for the 17 roses and the 10 lightning bolts. Much appreciated. And don't forget, we've got 1 out of 5 swans. We need 4 more swans. Who's got me with the swan? Help me out. Help support the show if you can. If not, you can always just hit the like button. We're at 65K likes. We're back to our regular analytics. We're back there. Viewership's a little bit down because we just got hit with guidelines and they did not approve the appeal. So it is what it is. But you know, we can at least try to, you know, do something here. And don't forget, if you do really want to help the show out, the best way to give is to send a donation. You can send the donations by clicking the Stream Elements donation thing on TikTok. There's a little thing you click on there. It says Stream Elements right there in the chat. And you just click on that link and it'll take you directly there, and you can pay with any credit card that way and send a donation directly to the show. And you can always send it through Cash App or Venmo, and that would be OZZY12233504, and you send it to there, and it's going to go directly to the show. Like, there's no middleman, there's no nothing. Platforms like TikTok and Twitch, they take a portion of, you know, what you send. So when you send it directly to the Cash App or Venmo or PayPal, I receive 100% of those donations, and those donations go to building this studio and to paying the staff. It doesn't go in my pocket. I don't ask TikTok seller. He'll tell you himself. He's seen the studio. He's the only one that's seen it yet, and it's still not completely done. But every little bit that you guys have sent me, I have reinvested back into the show with paying the staff and building everything, and then some. Like, basically for every dollar you guys put in, I put in $100. That's where we're at right now. Eventually, one day I want to get to where I don't have to keep investing my money in, but for every dollar you guys send, I invest $100 into this. And we're building something here, and I see that this can be something amazing. And the studio is just incredible. It's beautiful, and it's gonna look even more amazing. I cannot wait. I'm hoping that the cameras are on by Monday, but there's been it's just been a lot of delays with the construction crew and getting the materials. And I'm like, let's get all the materials now. Let's get them all. And it's like, okay, we get this. And then there's just always something that we run into. And it is just difficult to get a construction crew to work on the weekend. It's nearly impossible. So it's been very difficult and more expensive because I have to have people working on the weekends, because we do the show during the week and we're in the studio. But there may come a point where I will take a day or two, probably because we did that like a week or so ago. We had a few days off from the show because we had to move equipment into the studio and do construction and things. And we couldn't do the show because the equipment wasn't going to be set up. So there is that. That's probably going to be coming soon. I'm hoping that it doesn't have to be till next week, because I don't want to be doing that too often. But we're hard lined in with internet now, directly connected to Ethernet. A lot has happened, and every day it progresses a little bit further, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see all of these things unfolding every single day. But we're getting very close to turning on the cameras. And let me tell you, when the cameras turn on, we're basically done. It'll be done completely. And the way everything was built this time, everything in the studio, like, obviously some things are smaller and can be carried out, but most of everything in the studio is built into it. So once it's in here, it can never leave. It's here for good. Has anyone heard of Ripple Bids? Very new and would be like a crypto eBay. I haven't heard of that. That is interesting. A crypto eBay, like what, you put bids on crypto, or you pay with crypto to buy goods that you bid on? Because that would be cool. Like, if it's like, okay, I want to sell this old cell phone or whatever, I'm going to put it on my crypto Ripple eBay blockchain thing, and people can send me XRP or stable coins or whatever to buy. Yeah, that's cool. But I mean, technically that already exists with the new PYUSD, the PayPal. So like PayPal and Venmo, you can buy crypto with. So you can buy crypto and then convert stable coins into cash and then buy things. So, or you can convert your crypto into cash and buy things through PayPal and Venmo. I guess it's the same thing, just maybe one less step. You're paying directly with crypto. I don't know. But technically, it kind of already exists. So I think it's a great concept, and I think more of that kind of stuff is coming. But I don't know. I think, you're going to definitely see more. You probably won't see much of like where you pay with crypto coins, but with stable coins, that is definitely coming, because that's the idea of stable coins, is to be like actual currency. When you're buying these other coins like XRP, for instance, XRP is something you're buying into that fluctuates in value, whereas the stable coins are like the US dollar. It's pegged. Oh, excuse me. It's pegged to something, But that is interesting. I haven't heard of that. I'll have the fact checker team look into it. We're not going to have enough time to cover it today. Putin snubs peace talks with Zelensky in Istanbul despite having proposed a face-to-face meeting. The Russian leader chose not to show. And that's basically all there is to take from this. I don't think Russia has any intentions of having a ceasefire or negotiating anything. They've basically gotten to a point where they're doing whatever they want to do. So everyone, a couple weeks ago was like, oh yeah, there's going to be a peace deal and a ceasefire and all that. I just don't see it happening. Would you happen to know which exchange accepts deposits over 10K in Australia? I do not know as far as Australia, but I do not do any recommendations on exchanges at all because of what happened with FTX and everything, and just for legal reasons. Management has asked me not to recommend any specific exchanges to use. So I do apologize for that, but yeah, that's just something we can't handle. Check 1 2, test 1 2. All right, we had a little hiccup there with the audio. All right, little T&A right now. I think it's highly likely we pump back up to 243 to 247 and then come back down, and we're going to work our way down head and shoulders, and that would line up with our X right here and with the timeline of the end of May sell-off. And if we break below 210 and start heading towards $2, if we do not hold $2, all right, so let's say we move down here, we come down here, bam, we hit 205-ish right here, and we don't hold that, we're dropping down here. But there is the possibility we hit 205 and bounce off and kind of channel along here and then break upward. But we're going to have to wait and see. I would suggest that it's likely that we're going to break downward, but how far is the question, because I think there's more speculation going around that everything is happening this year, and because of that, people are holding and aren't going to sell off like they did the previous cycle. So that is a possibility as well. Something to keep in mind, that in the summertime, people start to sell off. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 160-ish again or lower. It is still on the table. Keep that in mind. All right, so we're going to end the live on TikTok and we're going to move over to Twitch. Won't 220 be a struggle? Yeah, but not so much. I think it could. And that could fulfill a head and shoulders, but I think once it starts breaking, a lot of people are going to be piling out. And that's just because of the May sell-off. It could blow through 220 pretty quickly. We might get a little bit of a sideways move and then drop, but I would say maybe a day or so. Most of that 220 zone, that strong support or resistance that we've had from it has been eaten up from all the times we dropped below it and pumped up above it. I think it will still hold some resistance or support and consolidation from there. But a lot of that was eaten up this last time. We were stuck in there a good amount of time. That was all the way through from April 13th through May 7th. A whole month in that consolidation zone. A lot got eaten up, but that could also create a lot of resistance to get through it. But if bad news is coming out, it's going to blow right through it. And I think with the whole judge not approving what's going on with the case, they're going to have to come out with fake news to keep, or, you know, some kind of something to bring it up here. But I think it could definitely, yeah, you know, 218, 220 could be that head and shoulders. But this head and shoulders would definitely indicate more of a move. If we plot it out right here. It's about right there. Move that. That would put it, you know, right there at 210. So keep that in mind. That's what it would indicate. And that would be on May 19th. Right over the X. Big red candle. And if we're just reading out, you know, and people are going to get scared. So we'll see. All right. Thank you all for watching on TikTok. Don't forget to come on over to Twitch. We're going to be live on Twitch after this show. And we're going to be talking about some things that we cannot talk about here on TikTok. So we're going to be going over my NDA and that subject that got us banned for 7 days last time. And we're going to go over I don't know, I'll think of something. I definitely have more stories to tell. I just feel like some of them you're not ready for yet. You're not ready for it, but we'll get there. Anyway, I will see you all on Twitch, guys. See you there. Well, it's going to be kind of short, though. Maybe not too long. We got about an hour left of time, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So come on over to Twitch. That's Ozthecryptogoat, all lowercases, no spaces, where we will be live for the second half of the show where we talk about things that we cannot say on TikTok. All right, see you all there. All right, let's see here. Get rid of TikTok nonsense. All right. How is my Twitch family doing? My Twitchers. So we were talking earlier about Theta was the coin we were talking about. Sitting at 91 cents. Is it? Let's look at that real quick. Oops, that was not what I wanted to do. Yeah, here we are. Yeah, that one is mirroring XRP like in the recently, not altogether. But yeah, that one will come down again. I'd say anywhere from 77, maybe 80 cents to 54 cents is a good buy for that one. And just accumulate in that zone, and eventually it'll spike up again like this. And I would say it's probably going to go a little lower when it does, or it does another big one like this eventually. But this is when they first come out, they do this, and then they're not so much the next couple times. But it could run, you know, sideways for a while, for years, and then go up. Yeah. But it could be a long time before another one of these happened. But that's all right. You know, what you're going to be doing is looking for those prices below 70 cents and just keep buying all along the line. Every time it drops, you know, 70 cents or lower, you're just going to keep buying for years. For years, you're going to do that until it finally... Can you look at Ondo? Sure. Ondo. What would you like to know about Ondo? Short term, long term. This looks like an ascending channel here on the 1 day. And that would indicate a fall. And if we're coming into crypto winter, it could fall out before it gets another pump. There is a possibility things pump one more time. Let's say it does pump one more time. I'd say 119-ish. 120. 119 to 125. But I would say crypto winter's coming. It's probably going to come down here and or move a little sideways and then fall down. Who knows? But I think this one's poised to fall out along with everything else. This guy's a clown. You know what? That's what everybody said. They said I was a clown when I said that XRP would fall to 163, 160-ish before it would continue climbing and breaking out of this trend. Everybody said that. And by the way, I did post that video. I think it was you that was asking about it. Can you show? I'm not showing anybody, especially with all the hacking that went on. Everyone, how you doing, little bro? Yeah. But yeah, they called me a clown. I want to say it was January 30th. January 30th, I posted that tariffs were going to go into effect at midnight the following day, and that we were going to crash. And it would continue to fall and crash until it hit about 163. And then from there, it would be the turn upward. Can you look at butthole on Solana? Is that really a freaking coin? Yeah, I'll look at butthole. I'm always down to look at some butthole. You had one of the big XRP streamers in your live lurking earlier. Really? Yeah, they're monitoring the show right now. We have like one of the best quality shows for crypto on Twitch right now. I'll look at your butthole. Bend over. We're on Twitch. I can say whatever I want. I'll tell you what, I want to own Fart Coin and I want to own Butthole. I'm down. That was part of the hater guy I told you about. LOL, the streamer tuned in. He didn't chat. What do you mean? What was his name? Why is the host lying? I ain't lying. Oh, 8 inches is back. What's up, guys? JPEG Jordan. He was just lurking. That's cool. I think I'm going to be speaking at TwitchCon. We'll see. I don't see Butthole Coin linked to the US dollar, though. Is Butthole linked to anything? Is there anything in your butthole? Let's see. What's a blockchain? Let's look on. It's on Solana, right? I think that's what he said. Yeah, Butthole on Solana. Radium Solana? I see Radium Solana, but I don't see like Solana. Let's check out this one. Is that what you're looking for? Is that the butthole you're looking for? I'm 7 USDT. If you're 7 years old, I believe it. But we're talking about Butthole Coin here. Wait, what? BHC. All right, let's look here. And that's on Solana? No, it's Butthole Coin on Solana, though. It's on the Solana network. I think this is it. It's one of these. I don't see anything else on Solana. Fact checker was yelling at you. I know. Bro, click the USDT pairing, you idiot. What do you mean? It's my first day. I've never done this before. I need to buy me some butthole. I agree. Maybe in Vegas. Vegas is a good place to do that. Are you going to be in Vegas, Big Baller? Oz with the low shots got me dying. Hey, all right, cool, man. I'm excited to see you there. Henry's going to be there too. I think butthole. I think it's going to drop its butthole. I think it's going to drop it low. Dip it low to the flow. I'd say 007, baby. Goon. All right, let me do Goon. Keep asking about that one. Goon coin, I found it. Let me, before I leave this one, Butthole Coin, I actually really like anything that's fun or silly like this. I want to own it. Okay, I want to own somebody's butthole. So, I would say it's in the accumulation zone. This is the time to be buying it for sure, but it could also go as low as 0.0006 or 0.0007. But I would say that probably it would 0.0035. Okay, I'm going to bring a beer gator with me because I have to show multiple breweries when I'm there. Sure. Yeah, bring it on down. I'll take a look at it. I'm actually really interested. Henry says that we're all wearing suits to Vegas. I haven't decided if I was going to wear my suit or not. I do have some pretty nice ones. I just don't want y'all to feel bad. I want to look so nice. Plus, I'm going to have all my gear with me. It's going to be a little much. So yeah, I think your butthole's ready to be accumulated. Definitely in an accumulation zone. But it does have the potential to reach more of a despair. But I think it's reached the mean. I'm bringing my birthday suit to Vegas. Yeah, I'm going to wear my birthday suit underneath my clothes. All right. I'm definitely going to buy some butthole. Maybe I'll buy some butthole when we're in Vegas. We'll do it in the live. Be like, hey, we're all here. We're here live, and we're about to buy some butthole. All right, let's check out Goon. Let's check out Goon. All right, so you guys want to talk about some rabbit hole stuff? Let's see. Goon is on what? Tether? Man, I've been so hiccupy today. Is it Goon's on Tether? Jessica Windrunner says, I would buy it, but I don't want it to be in my search history. All right. Goon on Tether. That can't be it. Goon coin, Tether USD. Must be this one. That's all there is to it? Goon's only been on a few days? How long has Goon been going? Buy it, make money, delete search history. Win all around. How long has Goon been on the market? Because my indications say it's only 1, 2, 3, 4 days it's been out. That tells me some pump and dump action. I don't know. Not sure. I just read a girl make $330K and $300 with $300. Yeah, I mean, if they bought here and it ran up, but I'd say it's done. And we're going into crypto winter. It could pump again, but I mean, it is pretty low, but it's fallen below this support line. I would say it's got more room to fall, but it hasn't fallen anymore because people are holding, waiting for it to pump again. I think most people bought right here, and that's what sent it up, and people held too long, and then it's been trading, consolidating, and then now it's just done. You also have to be careful when people say that. They lie to you. They'll buy the freaking top and then they'll go out and they'll say, hey, everybody go buy Goon coin. I made all this money off of it, and to get it to pump up again so that they can use you as exit liquidity. It's like a Ponzi scheme kind of thing. So I never trust those. I would say 9 times out of 10, you know, for every one person that makes it in a meme coin, everyone else loses. You know, like, you know, hundreds of thousands of people lose. You know, and I would say 9 times out of 10, most of the stories I hear about meme coins are, I lost everything. I lost a whole bunch on this meme coin. And then when I do hear, oh, I won a bunch of money off the meme coin, my speculation is that 9 times out of 10, those people lost too, and they're trying to pump it up to get it to run back up again. So I don't know. I mean, there is a potential. It is so new that it could do something again, but you can't, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. You can't chart things like this. You just can't. You can't expect. It's a meme thing, you know. It catches on, and then it pumps up, and then it's done. And unless it gets another, you know, crazy push of, hey, it's pumping, you know, the meme coins run off of like the internet hype. They shouldn't even call them meme coins. They should call them hype coins. I'm going to start calling them hype coins now. Be careful with this stuff, okay? Be very careful with this. This is generally why I don't do meme coins or any of this, because you can get burned and lose a lot very quickly. And then you could buy the bottom and just hold it and it never do anything ever again. You know what I mean? That's the issue with the meme coins, is you got to be in the middle of it running up and catch it early and run the hype and then get out early. And they're very, very, very dangerous. Sure, if you want to play a couple $100, depending on what your financial situation is, that's like your Shiba. I love Shiba Inu. I'm a Shiba Army. That's the only meme coin I like because it has utility. Shiba Inu. I like Shiba. Yeah, it does make me sad. People get taken advantage of on these meme coins. Yes, some people get very rich and some people don't. And what happens is a lot of people, they're just researching different meme coins and they're buying them like the day they come out, the moment they come out. And they throw a little bit in every single one that comes out, you know, and hoping that one of them hits. And as they run up, they're just taking profits, pulling the entire time. And that's how they're getting rich. Can you check Shiba? Heck yeah, I'll check Shiba. I remember a guy put in 8K into Shiba and made millions or billions. Biggest haul of all time. Yeah, I remember that. I was a part of that run. I just didn't put that much into it. Let's see. We were doing Shiba. I think Shiba Inu's done though. It'll do little things here and there. But you know, these are meme coins. The hypes are over, but there are those who will be diehard on these coins forever. There's a potential. Let's just say it has another one in it. It could go to 0, 0, 0. Man, I can't even count that many zeros. That's 0, 0, 0, 0, 2, 5. Somewhere along there. That's where it would go if it pumps again. If it's doing what it did here, it's going to come down and pump up again. If it's going to come down and pump up again and then come down, because this is typical for Shiba Inu. This is what it looks like when it pumps. It runs up and it dies down. It runs up and then it dies down. It runs up and then it dies down. But that's just a question of, does it have another one in it? I'm not convinced that these all have another one in it. They may though, just based on speculation. I would say maybe in like November-ish they'll get another run up. And who knows, maybe there'll be a meme coin season thing and these will run up to crazy numbers. Who knows? Just say where my mouse is. Yeah, it's right where my mouse is, right here. This would be the top. That's the top, baby. If it does pump again. Or just under, you know, be conservative. I'd probably even put it more like there. What's up, Oz? Have you checked H-bar yet? I did, but I can check it again. H-bar. This, so I'm seeing a lot of these. This could be, which means it could have another pump for an exit. I'd say somewhere between 220 to, yeah, somewhere like 220 exit point. Excuse me, 20-cent exit point. Sorry, I'm stuck on freaking XRP's prices. If this is a Head and Shoulders, but I don't think it is. But it could. It could be. I would say more or less it's this pattern. Shoot. We got a channel here. And that would indicate a breakdown. And I think we're coming into crypto winter. I think what we just had was the last good pump before the end of it. That sentiment could turn around. But be prepared, okay, for the sell in May. Happens middle of May. Where we're at, May 15th, okay? May 14th would mark the middle of May, and it would all be downhill from here. Possibly one other push, and then downhill. Yeah, they're all doing this channel right now. Everything is indicating downward movement. Yeah, what the heck if you made some good coin at 220? I know, right? My bad about the 220. I'm working on that. I've been so focused on XRP. But yeah, I've been seeing this a lot, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it could be breaking. It could be done. So make sure you take profits, keep a moon bag, things like that. But if you're buying along, you know, these zones down here in these low areas, then, you know, you're fine. You know, you take a bunch of profits, and if it does break down, pull out or whatever, you know, and then accumulate back down here at the bottom. But I think everything is just kind of going to go into crypto winter for the cycle, and then probably July it'll be back on. July, August. Oh man. All right, so I wanted to talk to you guys about I got banned the other day on TikTok because I was pointing out the way these scammers work, right? What happens is they scam the companies, right? They hit them with a cyber attack, and then they say, give us this much money or we're going to do it again, or they hold the company hostage where they can't operate or whatever. Yeah, no problem on H-bar. So that's what they do. And I knew, I don't know why it is, but something put it on my heart that I was like, hey man, like cyber attacks are coming, you know, and to be prepared for it. And look at what happened to Coinbase. And that's a prime example of what happens to these companies. Okay. And what they do is they hire these other companies that are supposed to be cyber security firms. And these companies pay these cybersecurity firms, and they post on their, for their company, oh, this company is cyber secure because we operate under this company. I can't say the names of the company, okay? But this company will say, hey, we're going to put our company's label on your company so that way people know that you're secure from cyber attacks. But they're actually not. There is no cybersecurity from cyber attacks. The only thing that they offer is a bribery system. So they facilitate in the payment of paying the bribes. And it's usually a monthly thing, or ever so often they negotiate and facilitate that bribery. And I have a feeling that those very companies are linked to those that do these nefarious activities. That is more speculative on my end. I don't have any facts behind that, but everything else is 100% factual. I have seen it firsthand and been in those meetings. Okay? That is how it is done. There is no cyber security for anything. Anything. If it's on the computer, it can be accessed. Nothing is safe. Nothing is secure. Did you guys see the movie Sneakers? XRP was named in it. That is where we're at. Okay? These hackers have that access to everything. It is at their fingertips. Back then, it was a concept. It was an idea of one day this could be a problem. And it is a problem now. And that's the issue. And that's my main concern with crypto is because it is digital, because it is linked to the way it is vulnerable. All of this stuff is very vulnerable. Until quantum computing rolls out, they will all be vulnerable. But then with quantum computing rolling out, it may be even harder to encrypt things because the quantum computer could think around any type of firewall or anything like that. Neo says monorails underground. Yes, they do have monorails underground. They do exist. They are, I wouldn't even say they're like a rail. They're more or less like a magnetic system. So they use electromagnetics for propulsion, and they float on the rail. They don't actually ride on the rail. So there's zero friction. They float on it and it like sends it down, and it takes off like the same way like the really fast roller coasters, the electromagnetic charges, and then boom, it just takes off. So, and they do, some of them do, I think, over 200 miles an hour. Like a railgun, kind of, yeah. But they don't actually touch the rails, like, or anything like that. It's all, yeah, I mean, it's higher tech than I know. But as a electrical engineer, I know some of it, but that's the kind of stuff that they've been wanting to build above ground and start doing too. But the tech that we get up here is so much more limited to what they're already using down there, because they're siphoning off the budgets for these projects up here to build down there. That's where a lot of that funding comes from. So, but the cybersecurity, man, that is something to be wary of, And that's why, you know, keeping something on a cold wallet does give you security. When you have the dual wallet set up, like I've showed you guys, having one wallet and then that's connected to the exchange, and then a secondary wallet that's not connected to anything, that gives you a layer of protection. And that is very important to have. Yep, I got both Arculus colors. Nice. Yeah, I don't I no longer promote Arculus anymore. I got banned on TikTok from selling them, so if I'm not making any money, I'm not going to promote anybody. But I do have them. So cold storage wallet's probably your best bet. And I think that that's going to be the future. Like the Arculus is tap to pay and all that stuff. That's how it's going to work. That's how it's going to be. So, breadcrumb. These underground cities, huh? There's something. You know, I was thinking about maybe, because I can still go to work with my job, even though I'm retired. So I can work like a certain amount and make like a certain amount and still be considered retired. I'm thinking about getting some hidden cameras and going to work with the sole purpose of getting footage for the show. What do you guys think about that? Management says no. I just hear over the back, from the back, they said nope. Nope. I know, right? I want to do it so bad. I mean, I do have some stuff, but not what you guys are looking for. Guinea Marie says, crazy, nope. Yeah, we say yes, they say no. I know, I say yes too. I will do it with you. Good luck. You have the vetting process to get into what I was involved with and doing is, first of all, you have to, not only do you have to know somebody, you have to be related to somebody. My uncle was like, he literally ran the whole thing at the time before he died. And when I was a kid and I wanted to get into it, and my dad wanted to get into it. My uncle made my dad wait 30 some odd years before he let my dad in. The only reason he let my dad in is because he wanted to let me in, and it was like, okay, if I let him in, I gotta let his dad in too.
You're giving me high.
I'm giving you high blood pressure. Let me tell you. Hold on. Don't go nowhere.
Yes.
I might do it. Maybe.
Going to why you're not.
Why? All right. Management says no, I can't do it. Get the glasses that have cameras. I know, that's what I'm thinking, is like cameras with the glasses, but also I'd be putting a big target on my head. After that point, there would be no going back. I would need to be more prominent in social media before I can do that. I need to be on a status level where if something happened to me and I disappeared, people would question it. Have daddy in 8 inches go. That's a no-go, even I know that. Yeah. Yeah, my wife manages the business. So she is the voice of reason here. Management says no, however, I have creative control. I'm tempted. I'm very tempted. I literally thought about it yesterday. I was like, you know what? I could just go work a couple days, pick up a couple extra grand, get some footage. Yeah, go in as a spy, investigative journalism. That's kind of where this show is headed, is towards investigative journalism, on location, digging into things, finding things. I will pay you to go. Yeah, 007 stuff. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And I may go and gather the footage now and save it for the right moment, or put it in some type of secure place with someone unknown, where if something happens to me, it's released. Something like that, like a failsafe. Take the vet. I always take the vet when I go to work. 007 in the Corvette. I know, right? We're playing spy over here now. Fast getaway car. I know, right? Tesla would be faster. I just would be limited in my range. My buddy goes, I bring the vet to work, right? And I park up in the front at SoFi Stadium. And one of the guys that's on my crew, he's he's one of my subordinates, right? And he shows up in his new Tesla and he's like, hey, I'll race you for pinks. And my buddy next to me goes, okay, race him to Vegas. Hide your tracks, don't talk in the footage or anything. That's what I'm thinking, stuff like that, or edit it in a certain way. I want to gather, hold on, hear me out. I'm thinking maybe I should gather the information, put it in the hands of somebody as a fail-safe to ensure my security and well-being, where if something were to happen to me, it gets released.
Do you hear yourself?
I know.
Do you hear yourself?
I know, but people need to know this stuff.
Don't you have a family?
I do.
What's more important?
My family, but I think also it's important that the world knows these things that are being hidden from them.
You know they're going to pinpoint exactly who and when.
Oh, I know.
They were watching you.
I know. That's why I'm in front of a mic now and not on stage. I'm in front of a mic in the security of my own home. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this if I do it. And she'll know too, because she'll be like, oh, you're going to work? Why? Why? You hate that place. I do love it though. It's a lot of fun, and it can be a lot of work sometimes, but if I do go, I'm already retired. I'm not really interested in, making a career of it. I would just go and dick around all day. For money, OBV? What do you mean OBV? What does OBV mean? I'm old. You got to remember, I don't know these acronyms. I kind of want to get some video of the underground city and stuff, though. That would be incredible. When I first started working down there, obviously, that's what I was thinking. When I first started working down there, phones were more rudimentary, and a lot of phones didn't have cameras on them yet. That's how long I've been doing this. And we weren't allowed to have a phone with us if it had a camera on it. And nowadays it's a little bit different. They do allow phones with cameras, but they watch. Like, man, I'll tell you what. One was a big one was I was doing this was at SoFi Stadium, and I did WrestleMania, and they were on top of filming. They had crews watching everyone, and they were watching on cameras, and if anyone pulled their phone out while they were out on stage, immediately they'd come rush you. I got footage though of it while it was being built and stuff. I think some of it's on TikTok. If not, I'll post one. I'll post one of the WrestleMania videos on TikTok. but I have a special way of doing stealth photography. Not only does my photography look pro, okay, I'm doing it handheld with a phone, trying not to get caught. It took years of developing that. That is why I'm such a good photographer now, is from doing that. Wasn't there a WWE event in the 80s where someone died? They made everyone there delete any footage. Yes, they do that. Randy the Macho Man Savage. Yeah, remember Hulk Hogan? All that? Yeah. I've actually met a lot of them. I met like John Cena, Big Show. Who else have I met? God, you know what? WrestleMania, I met everybody. I bought one of their, like, it was like their most expensive hat they had. It was like a couple $100 for it, and it was like this special edition WrestleMania hat that they only made a few of them, and like once they were gone, that was it. And like because I'm there like before everybody, I got in line first, and I bought one of these hats. Right, I carried it around with me, clipped to my belt, and got hundreds of signatures on this thing. And I gave it to my little cousin because he's a huge fan. But I got all kinds of stuff for him from WrestleMania. I even got one of the chairs from courtside for him. But I mean, this hat that I got him was tagged up. It had every performer's signature on it. I was the head audio engineer, so like I was like the lead guy for the entire stage. Basically, I was just under stage manager, and I gave no fucks. I was like, I'm the boss around here. Fuck it. Like, hey, can I get your autograph? I walked around with that hat and that pen, and every time someone would see me, they'd see my hat, and it would just like have more signatures than they'd be like, you did that? You're not afraid about like getting in trouble? I was like, I don't really care. Like, I was like, I'm about to retire anyway. Like, my career is over anyway. Who cares? Like, this is the stuff that's gonna last long after I've left and I'm gone. You'll get cavity searched, yeah. Junkyard dog, yeah, right. There was a WWE right next to me a couple days ago. There was hella traffic. I know, those things are so big. I don't understand why. I've never been really into it. Should have went. Do you think we'll ever see these underground cities as a nation? Yes. Yes, I do. Because I exist and other people like me exist. And with the advancements of technology, eventually this footage is going to get out. It's already starting to get out on TikTok. There are other people that are starting to get these footage and put them out. I remember a recent video about an underground tunnel in cities. Jeffree Star, I think, is their name, and they went after them hard. Oh, yeah. I know. But you all remember his name, don't you? Jeffree Star? They'll remember my name. That's, and that's part of why, like, I record all of these. One day, my children and these videos will be all that is left of me. And that's part of why I've worked so hard at building this, and I've invested so much into this, because this is, other than my children, obviously, but this is my legacy as far as my work. And that's part of why I tell these stories, because if I don't, it'll get lost. My grandpa used to tell me stories before he passed, and now those stories are all I have left. So this is part of my immortality I'm creating. I'm trying to create the goat mortality. Goat immortality. It's funny how this show's evolved in such a way how I've gone from Tin Man to the goat. What a transition it's been, because I was DJ Tin Man for a while. You may have seen me DJ. I DJ'd with Skrillex back in the day at the Hard Haunted Mansion at the Shrine Auditorium. Good times. Good times. All right, I think that's it for the show tonight. I'm going to start thinking about, I have plenty of things that I want to talk to you guys about with as far as these rabbit holes go. But I'm going to think about what it is I need to tell you next, because this has to be timed and calculated properly in a way that's going to ensure my safety, as well as not give you too much, because if I tried to explain it all in one live, you'd all think I'd be crazy. But I do believe this information does need to be released. You wear a lot of hats, only way to stay on top of the game. Yeah, I do wear a lot of hats, and that's part of why I've been so successful in my life. I've done many things, and I think part of it comes from, being in the GATE program. And when I was a kid, I literally launched a satellite into space from Mission Control when I was in middle school. I was in, those advanced schools for gifted children and things like that growing up. And I was in like film school and things like that. Sounds like you have a lot of fun doing what you've done. You're lucky. Yes, I've had a lot of fun. Good night. Good night to all of you. Hopefully I will see you guys in Vegas, and we can hang out. That'll be June 2nd at 5 p.m. 5 p.m. Nevada time. That's Pacific Standard Time. So meet me by the fountain in the Caesar's Palace, where the mall is. And that's where we will meet, and we'll go from there. Great show today. Thank you very much. And take care to you as well. But hopefully I know I'm going to see at least a few of you. So that'll be cool. Even if it's just a small handful of us, it'll be more intimate, and we'll have a good time doing that. And I think XRP, we're going to see anywhere from 242 to 247. We'll see. I would aim for the lower number just because the news is pretty bad. But if you're banking on moon cheese, I'd say 247. All right, have a good night, all. I will see you tomorrow, and I'm gonna think of some more stories for y'all. All right, have a good night.
You are
than a ghost now, huh? Thank you for subscribing on TikTok. Paul Rain 99. Thank you for becoming a deluxe subscriber and take advantage of the coaching. I think I'm going to switch to the bat. Someone said Batman on the ghost. I wish the goat emoji was better. By the way, don't forget to renew your subscriptions on TikTok because we got at least one more month. June 19th is the 90 days is up for TikTok, so we're going to be doing at least one more month. And if you do pay for more months and something does happen, I will honor those subscriptions in another way. We'll facilitate that when it happens. If we have to open a Discord or you can message me through whispers on Twitch, we'll figure it out. So even if you do pay for it, you're going to have that honored wherever it is we do move. So much appreciated for all your support. And don't forget, we are supported by your donations. So you can send those donations by clicking the link on the Twitch stream, or you can send them directly to the Cash App or Venmo. I'll put the Cash App and Venmo up on in the chat if you guys want to help. But that does help go to help pay for and facilitate everything we do here. Thank you all for your support. I appreciate all of you. What is going on, everybody? We're going to get started in just a few minutes here. If you're watching on TikTok, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the show with your friends. As a subscriber, you have access to my daily price point videos, so that way you will know where the market is going and what is happening. And you can also sign up for the email alert system because the algorithm does not always send you an alert. So this way you can get an email alert notification that you can set up custom alerts so that you will be notified anytime I post something. And also, as a deluxe subscriber, you can message me directly and I offer coaching to help you with your strategy and how you do your trading. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I can coach you and push you in the right direction. And so far, everyone that has taken advantage of that service has grown exponentially, and I would say they've become expert traders overnight. And it's funny because now some of them they ask me questions, but before they have the answer or they get the answer, they're like, I think it's going to do this. And I'm like, I think you're right. And so that's a beautiful thing, that the evolution of everyone's trading has just been phenomenal. And kudos to you, all of you who have made those changes and are growing. So proud of you. So happy to see that. How's everybody doing today? We got a few people watching. Don't forget, if you are watching the show, smash the like button because that's what's going to notify people and bring them into the show so that they can watch. We've only got about 3 people. We got 0 likes right now. We did just start. So start smashing that like button and help keep the show alive. You don't always have to give a donation or send a gift, which are very much appreciated, but the likes also are helpful. If you can't afford to give, no big deal. Just keep smashing that like button, double tap that screen, and that sends out to the algorithm that things are happening here and that you're liking the show, and more people will keep driving in. So much appreciated. Thank you, Raiden, for the likes. Much appreciated. One of my faithful subscribers. How are you doing, buddy? We got some news today. We got some news, some more news, and I'd say we're looking pretty good on XRP. XRP is looking excellent. I am really impressed. I do think that there will be a potential pullback, but it could hit, 250 and bounce right back up. And it's already kind of holding firmly above here. And let's jump into the 1 hour real quick. Let's look at the 1 hour and see what it's doing. Okay, we got a little something here. It kind of looks like a double top here at about 265. So that could send it, coming down, but it doesn't look really sharp. Like a double top would normally look like this, really sharp. So it's not quite in structure. What's up, HD Malicious? And don't forget, smash the like button. Keep pressing the screen, double tap it. Let's get those likes up. We're at 136 likes. Let's get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. We generally hit anywhere from 20 to 50K likes a show, and those numbers have been way down. We really need to pick up the likes because it has been detrimental to the show. I know a lot of people are you're driving and you're listening and you don't really have the opportunity to hit the like button. Totally understandable. Totally understand. But if you are available, or some of you are at work, but if you are available to hit the like button, the more you guys are liking it and the more people that are liking it together, the more people that are going to be driven into the show. So if you can't send gifts and you can't, afford to subscribe and, you can't send donations, you can always hit the like button. It's free, and we are growing. We are building a platform here. So I do need your help and support to continue that going. So keep those likes flowing in as much as you can throughout the live, and I'll try to remember to remind you because I do get it. It can get a little much. It can get a little much at sometimes, but unfortunately we need that right now. So I do appreciate you. HD Malicious, thank you for liking the live. This looks a bit like a double top. When you get into the shorter time frames, I'd say that probably the 6 hour. I don't have it available on here. Let me see if I can add it. On my other chart that I use, it has the 6 hour, and I watch that one pretty regularly, but on here I don't have access to that. But I would imagine the 6 hour chart is more than likely a double top. What's up, Ken? How you doing? And don't forget, keep smashing that like button, guys. We need to get those like numbers up. We're at about 500 likes. Let's see if we can get that to about 5,000 likes. 5,000 likes before we get to the news. Glad you're doing well, Ken. It's always good to see you here. We got some subscribers watching. We got Raiden, we got HD Malicious, we got Ken. Glad everyone's doing well. We are getting that pullback though, and I told you it was coming. I was hoping to get all the way to 270, and we just fell short. And if we continue, and let's say we do run up again, and when we hit bam right here at 265 again and fall short, that could be a triple top, and that would be called for a heavy rejection down to, I'd say, 233 to 230, and X marks the spot. It could run sideways for a little while before it does something and then start to run downward. So that would kind of make sense, but we got to kind of see what it wants to do, see if it's gonna, get another bullish push and build a flag. There's definitely opportunity to take off here. I think it's a little early. I think it's going to, but I think more along the lines of June, middle of June, we could see crazy numbers. I would say even past all-time highs, somewhere to like 250-ish. It is definitely possible. How you doing, Henry? Glad to see you. And don't forget, keep hitting that like button. I need you guys all together right now. Let's all come together, everyone watching, and just start hitting the like button. All of you at once hitting it together is going to help the algorithm and drive everybody in here. We are a little low on viewership right now. So, and honestly, I thought about not going live today to take a break. So if viewership is down, I may just call it a quick show, and we'll see what happens. But if you guys are hitting that like button like crazy, I'll stick around for you. Big baller with the likes on Twitch. And if you are on Twitch, hop on over to TikTok real quick and just start hitting the like button. Just start hitting the like button. And don't forget, if you are watching on Twitch and you want to send gifts, little thing at the bottom, it says bits, right? And it kind of looks like it's just the same thing, and it sends those little gifts to help support the show. So that also drives the algorithm for Twitch. And I think we've only received 1 bit on Twitch. So I would encourage those of you who are watching on Twitch to engage in that just a little bit. It's like a penny or so. It's like, I don't know how much they are. I may be able to adjust the rate on it. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of learning Twitch too, so I get it. But click the little bits thing right there and send a bit, just one, and it's not really so much about the money with these things. It's about driving viewership to the show, because our viewership has been way down since we moved to Twitch. When we first started, we were doing really well, and it's kind of taken a dive. And I do need us all to work together. So if you are watching on Twitch and you don't want to send a bit, come on over to TikTok real quick and start hitting the like button for a little bit, and then come back to Twitch. Whatever you feel like doing, or just watch, leave the phone in your pocket with your AirPods in, whatever. I don't mind. But if viewership does stay low today, I'm probably going to do a shorter show because I'm just tired, man. We have been working on the studio and doing so much here, so I would not mind taking a little bit of time to myself. So we'll see. One news article at a time so far. But I see the likes flowing in on TikTok. Thank you all very much for that support. It is much needed right now. Mr. Pag says, sup. I like TikTok preferably, but I'm okay. Yeah, no worries. Wherever you want to watch, TikTok, Twitch, whatever floats your boat. But the idea is to get over to Twitch now and know where we're at, because we get hit with guidelines quite often. I'm thinking about doing story time tonight. I've been thinking about some different things that have happened within my career, and if something comes to me, something good and saucy that lines up with what's been going on or whatever, it comes to mind, I think I'm going to do a story time segment. But as you know, I came out and told you all, because it became a bit of a thing, the underground tunnels in the underground city. It was becoming a thing on TikTok, and I saw this and I was like, wow, people think it's a conspiracy. They think it's fake. They're spreading fake information. They're spreading real information. And I wanted to set the record straight on that, because I have been in those tunnels. I have been in that city. In multiple cities, I've seen this. So it is real and it does exist. And now we have a former Bush administration official coming out and saying that they've spent trillions of dollars building these cities all across the nation, just like I told you. And I always tell you before, you hear it here first. You're going to hear things from me, and shortly after I say them, you're going to get confirmation about them. And I can't give you an exact reason why it happens like that. Maybe it's divine timing or something like that. But I think that it's all for a purpose. There's a reason why I've had these experiences in my life, and I believe that they all came to this point right now. That is why we're here. And as you can see, the ghost is gone, but the boo is not gone. We still have the boo right here. The ghost is gone. So that is an indication that we're doing pretty well and we're holding above here. But I do feel like there is a possibility we break through and the ghost goes back up until further notice. But for now, the boo stays and the ghost is gone. We shall see. XRP cooked, looks sideways, nothing serious either way from my TA. Yeah, my technical analysis would say that we're probably going to come right here. X marks the spot. We're probably going to come and retest back here at 230, but I would imagine we bounce up from there. The question is do we bounce up and touch the top of this again, or just out of it and then fall through? And this is, I would say it's more of this pattern right here, this channel pattern. But the reason why I brought this down here like this is to show you how it's holding above the support. So technically there should be another line here, but it got so busy. I didn't want to confuse everybody. But we did break upward out of this wedge, but we're not out of the gate yet, because this is an ascending channel, which also can be bearish. I think it could retest down here at 230 but then move back up and retest up here at 280. And depending on what we form around here at 280, maybe we move sideways like this, and then we break downward, or we flag right here and we just blow out the top, or we start to blow out the top even sooner. But I think we're in that consolidation right here. And I would say it's safe to say that XRP is probably going to do all-time highs again. Not right now. I would say probably after June or July, the likelihood. However, the whole trade war and world war is not over yet. Okay, so we have a lot looming in the air. You have any faith in XRP at all with the entire world adopting Ripple? I don't think the entire world is going to adopt Ripple. I think that is a pipe dream, and that is a great idea that somebody had, but all of that stems from basically the whole it replacing Swift in all these things comes from its utility, but also it comes from the proposal on the SEC website. And as you know, that proposal on the SEC website is just a proposal from a random guy. It's from a random technical analysis guy that has proposed this, and people will do things like that. They know that it's a pipe dream, and they know that the SEC will never accept it, but they'll still throw it out there because they're hoping that people will feed on the moon cheese and it will pump the markets. And who knows, maybe it does do something. I had to sell my XRP. I'm looking to buy back in. What's the best buyback in? I'm thinking 230. 230 sounds like a good spot. Man. Let's see. SEC dismissal news is incoming. I know that for a fact. That's going to fuel ETFs. Only if even if the SEC dismisses the case, there's still an injunction. Okay? The only way it's going to get an ETF is with the injunction removed. So the judge has to agree and say that it's lawful to remove the injunction. But the fact that XRP or Ripple is paying a $50 million fine, that calls into question, did they actually do something wrong? And is that injunction viable? BlackRock and Franklin Templeton are not newbies. That's my concern. I agree. And the whole BlackRock ETF, there's been no announcement of that for XRP. It's all been speculation. Nothing's been said. Under previous laws, yes, times have changed. Well, none of the laws have changed. Just the administration has changed. Now, with new regulations and regulatory clarity, that's a possibility. And I think that's part of why they're dragging the case out, so that way it can fall under new guidelines and new regulation. But as of right now, no crypto anything has been passed. There's been no legislation signed. You think we will ever see under $1 again? That is a question. Yes, I think we will after this bull run. If not, maybe we don't see under like $1.50 or $2 ish. But I definitely think that more than likely we will see 75 cents again, or maybe $1.15 ish, $1.05. Those numbers are still on the table. Remember, this is a bull cycle. All right. If you look at any previous cycle, let me go into the 1 day. If you look at any previous cycle, all right, they run up and then they fall down and then they go sideways. They run up, they fall down, they go to sideways. So yes, there is a likelihood that it will see $1 again. It could happen. We have our little ghost guy here. I don't think there's too much to be afraid of right now, but I do think we're going to come back and retest 230. Are we going down when Asia wakes up? I would say, let's see, today's Wednesday. Probably. Yeah, because we've been pumping on Sundays and we've been selling on Wednesdays. It's been the opposite. But we did have a Sunday sell-off. And we did sell off Wednesday. There's a possibility, you know, we pump, but I'm thinking Sunday will be a sell-off day. And that's probably when you'll see it fall. It's probably just going to consolidate until then. And I would say there's a possibility. I know I'm always doing these patterns, but this could potentially be head and shoulders right here down to 230. Possibly. It's a little bit wonky, but if you put it in a different time frame, it actually kind of looks like it. Let's see here. As you see here. And we've seen plenty of head and shoulders. There's this inverted head and shoulders that was a double bottom. Where's another one? Well, this is probably the best. This inverted head and shoulders was a double bottom. And we have the body, the shoulder, the head right here, right? And this was a head and shoulders. And I'd say it just has a wonky arm. It kind of went up, but I did say about 230 would be the play out of that head and shoulders. And we hit it 230 on the dot. And then we started doing something else. So this technically was a head and shoulders. And this could possibly be head and shoulders with a double top. So the double top would bring it down in here and it would probably hit this blue line and consolidate, maybe run up again one more time and then fall short at the X right here. And that would break it down. And it's very possible that if it does form a head and shoulders at 230 right there, it could break past it and come all the way down to this line at 207. So this is definitely something I'm watching for. I do think for sure we're probably going to see 230. There's not enough data yet, but if this head and shoulders plays out, it's probably going to come down here to this blue line. So that's the question. Does it stop at this blue line or this one? And I'd say that we've ran all the way up from 163 to 265. All right. And we've had, it's just been pretty much upward. We had a little bit of a correction here, but not really. I'd say that this was more like a consolidation, but it was a bit of a correction, but not really. Bringing it down to this line at 208, 210 would indicate a 50% correction from this overall move from down here to up here. And that's this overall upward moving trend. And that would kind of play out this pattern right here. Let's see here. Give me a second. If it's this and it does this, it could very well this be the channel right here and it's not as long. And it comes up here and then breaks down. I think it's got another one in it though. I think it wants to come here and then run up one more time. However, this X right here marks May 20th. That's Tuesday, May 20th or Wednesday, May 21st. Maybe it's Sunday. Maybe it does it a little early. Sunday, May 18th. Maybe it goes a little late. Maybe it happens Sunday after Memorial Day, May 25th, right? And that time frame lines up with the previous cycle. So this previous cycle right here, we dropped here on May 25th through May 20th. That's Memorial Day weekend. People are going to take money out to go barbecue and party. Let's see this big red candle right here. This is May 19th. All right. All the way to June 22nd. I would say accumulation between the beginning of June to the end of July. That's where I would be buying if it does this, which I think more than likely. I would just be buying it up as much as I can, loading up on all the dips all the way down, trying to figure out where the bottom's going to be, because after it does get, and I'm thinking, if it drops hard like this, I buy some here. If it runs back up again, I'll take some profits. And as it runs back down to the second one, I'll throw it in some more. And then it runs up again, take some more profits, and it runs down some more, throw it back in, and build up that bag over those couple months that are dead. The saying goes, sell in May, go away. Let's see. Had to come over to TikTok. Ads are nuts. Yeah, I do apologize for the ads, but one day we won't have TikTok and you'll just have to subscribe on Twitch, and it'll actually be cheaper because I think the TikTok subscription's like $10 and the Twitch subscription's only like $7. But the idea is to move you over to Twitch for now, because one day we won't have TikTok anymore. TikTok will be done, and that's where you're going to have to come watch the show. So we're facilitating that migration right now. I'm dumping 409. Yeah, I think I'm going to dump before that. I think I'm going to dump at 350. Because look, if it does this, all right, if this is where we're at, all right, let's say we're right here, and then we dump May 19th, May 20th through the 21st, end of May, we dump hard, right? I'm going to be accumulating all the way along here until July-ish, and then I'm going to be waiting for that run up, and I may even accumulate through July a little bit, right? And then it runs up one more time, okay? But as you can see, this time it went to 196. The second time it pumped, it only went to 141. So it's only about half the way up. So if it does drop like that hard before, and look at what's today's date, the 14th, May 14th, look at, it's lining up perfectly. Okay, so we had a drop and then we've ran up 13th, 14th, 15th, okay, 16th, 17th, and then bam, down hard. End of May, which is what I think is going to happen with XRP. It's probably going to run up for a little bit, consolidate sideways, get one more good little push up, and then it's going to be toast. It's going to come down hard, and it's going to run down for a couple months. And that's going to be your accumulation zone for the next pump, but it won't be as much. It'll be half the way. So let's say that this is, we compare this over here to the previous cycle, that would run it back down to that 163 to even 125. We would fall down here to this blue line. Right? Maybe 130-ish. But the blue line says that we would probably hit around 120 to 130, but there's a lot of resistance at like 150. So I think, 150, 145-ish we'd hit, and that's where we would first initially hit, and we would probably continue sideways downward channel all the way down to, I would say, $1. And if it's anything like the last one, it would pump from $1 up to $2, possibly $2.50. Jam says toast 2. Yeah. I think there is a possibility of that still playing out. However, everything is so different this cycle, but it is moving exactly like the previous cycle for now. So I think it's in for a hard dump. This is bearish, this downward channel, and this upward channel is also bearish. It's just getting going. I think it'll probably run sideways a little bit and then pump up one more time to about 270-ish, maybe even 275 or 280. That's very possible. That's on the table. And then fall down just hard. And I think it would take longer than it did in the previous cycle. It wouldn't be these crazy red candles. I think we'd see some big red candles, but it'll be multiples, one after the other, like these. It'll look kind of like this, drop down here from one, what was it, like 160 all the way to 260 all the way to 163. That kind of a move. And let's see, let's plot that real quick. Let's say we move from here, and we put that right here. That would put the price right at 163 again. That is possibly the bottom. And it may go a little bit lower, but that's just kind of gauging what it moved from here to here. The last big drop. And let's say it runs up a little higher, 180. Those are all those resistance zones right there. So it could go to 180 and then taper off sideways from there. And, just kind of do this and then shoot up, probably hit $2 and consolidate a little bit maybe, and pull back like this, and then cup and handle and run up. But I would say probably around 250, 260 would be the top again, where it's at right now, where it's hitting the resistance, and that would be the top. So technically, buying right now is buying the top for now, unless something changes. I thought we were in a reversal trend. We kind of are, but not. So here, let me explain to you that this trend is a smaller micro reversal. Let me get rid of all this stuff here. I gotta get rid of this mouse pad. It's not working well. I have another one here. Oh yeah, that works much better. Okay. This downward trend, okay, is bearish. This upward trend is also bearish. Okay, it's trending upward and it's broken out of this trend, moving upward, and it's moving up this channel. But in a technical analysis, you would say an ascending channel is followed by a drop. Every other coins are hitting all-time highs. Why is it so hard for XRP to get there? Because the SEC, institutions can't buy it. Institutions can buy other coins right now. XRP is like the only one. That's why I'm so interested in it, because if it is suppressed because of that, and one day it does drop, that can happen. Not only will it pump like crazy, but then institutional money will get into it, and it could send it to $10. That's all that speculation. That's why I'm watching it, because I don't care if I miss from $2 to $2.50 and I miss this. That's not a big deal, because there's always a price correction, get halfway in somewhere along there. I want to see news that tells me that it's going to pump hard and it's going to break out of this institutional decline, because no institutions are into it. But X marks the spot, and look at these two channels are an X together. and they've crossed over here, right here at this X. We pumped up, right? And more than likely, so we pumped at about this X, and this X is on the low side, not the high side. So that would indicate a drop down to this side, somewhere around here. And it could run up one more time and then drop, but it doesn't line up with the timeline. There is a possibility, but we're already in May 15th. It would take days for it to get down here, and May 21st, May 19th to May 21st is when we had that big drop in the last cycle. So if it's mimicking the last cycle, that would indicate that we would come down to this X and possibly blow right through it, and over the next month or so work our way down to, 175, 150, something like that. So that's why I'm watching it, because I'm interested. I'm waiting for lower zones to be in it to keep, because I took profits up here. I want to throw them in these lower zones, because I do think there is a potential that it's going to do something, and it's being held back, which is buying me time to make trades and accumulate and do more with it. I think there's more potential here. What about Cardano? No legal issues with them. Exactly. However, but with legal issues, once XRP has been put through the fire and it has that legal clarity, it's more adoptable. And that's that speculation that's happening. It's like, it's the only one that is, been through the fire. Let's see here. Other chats going like crazy. For precedent purpose, under previous laws, yes, but it will be changed. For precedence purpose, really well, or under $1, geez. Yeah, it's definitely possible. After the bull run's over, everything crashes again. Everything will crash again. That's just how it goes. What is this? This is XRP. Danny Gibson. This is XRP always. Let's see. I'll be in Vegas May 28th for 3 weeks. I'll be attending the Bitcoin Con. I'll see you June 2nd. Awesome. I will be there. And I will have the equipment, and we'll do a special live or something, and we'll hang out. We'll do whatever. So I cannot wait to see you guys. There's a few people who are confirmed for the Vegas meet and greet. Those of you who are coming out, we're going to have a blast. It's going to be great. I cannot wait. We're weeks away from finally meeting you guys. I'm super excited about it. It's going to be awesome. And if all we do is go play some games and, have something, and hang out, whatever, and do Vegas, I'm cool with that too. Like, we don't necessarily have to do the live. I do plan on doing a bit of a live. I'll wait until we all meet each other and talk and see what everybody wants to do, because not everybody wants to be on camera and this and that. And but I do kind of want to do a special little walk through Caesar's Palace in the mall area for the live, and kind of explain the similarities between that and the underground tunnels and city. So I do want to do that, because there's a lot of people who haven't been there or whatever, and I just want to kind of explain, because that's probably the closest thing I've seen to above ground that's like what's below ground in those more luxurious areas. And it's a great way to just describe the differences and the similarities. But I would say one of the biggest differences is they actually have living plants down there. It's not, there's no sun, but because of the lighting that they have, it does grow the plant life. And I think part of that, and like I said, they have, water and like ponds and things like that with fish in them and stuff. And I think that's all part of like an aquaponics system that's for down there, because I do think that these are like aftermath scenario type places, but they're also utilized while they exist. Yeah, I wouldn't say hydroponic, it's aquaponic. So the difference is they use the fish to fertilize the water, and then the water is pumped into water the plants. So the fish produce meat, and they also produce fertilization for the plants. I actually used to build aquaponic systems back in the day when I was much, much younger. We would build these greenhouse things, and they have like a big giant tub, and we'd fill them with fish, depending on whatever you want. I think a lot of them, they use halibut, and you put them inside the greenhouse. And so what we did was we built an aeroponic aquaponic system. So the roots are actually suspended and sprayed with the water, and they don't actually sit in soil, and they don't actually sit in water. I'm online YouTube, my greenhouse I built. Nice. I could probably find something I built in the past. We used to build them commercially. My uncle, he used to have a shutter business, and so like I learned a lot of my carpentry stuff from working with my uncle building shutters from a really young age. I worked 16 years old working in the carpentry shop. And after I don't remember what year that was, but after he had closed that shop, and I don't think he actually closed it, but it was kind of like an offshoot of what he was doing. We were building the aquaponic greenhouses. So it was the carpentry and all the plumbing and everything we were all doing together. Hydroponic greenhouses number 1 through 4. Yeah. And obviously everybody just automatically assumes the devil's lettuce. But no, we were doing like tomato stuff. So we were like trying to create systems that were self-sustainable. So someone could build one of these in their backyard, and they could have fish, to eat and harvest, and they could also have fresh food, vegetables, things like that to harvest. That was the whole thing behind it. Obviously, there are those who use them for whatever they're going to use them for, but that wasn't the whole point. But there was a time where I used to build systems for those people. I actually invented a way to grow more efficiently. And what it is, they use these felt bags. They're like a black felt bag. And the reason that they work so well is that the aeration, it allows the roots to get more air, and they grow bigger and stronger and better fruit, right? And so what I had created was this system where it's a cross between aeroponics, hydroponics, and in soil growing. And it was these PVC pipe frames that each one of these bags was suspended from and hung in the air. And then the aeroponic sprayers sprayed directly onto the bag to moisturize it, and all of the plumbing for the water was piped through the PVC pipe and all interconnected. And they had like quick disconnects where you could quickly disconnect them and move them around. And then I also invented a system for the lights, there was 12 lights that went around the room for, and what it did was every hour the light would switch to a different hour, and during the daytime it would simulate the movement of the sun in the room and cause the plants to lean towards the light and move back and forth, which produces a stronger, thicker stem, which allows more nutrients to flow up through the plant. So that was actually my own design. I have the original drawings for the designs. They're actually in my desk. I'm looking at them right now. I can literally see it right now. Those were drawn years ago, and I don't believe anyone uses that system to this day. I think it's more along the lines it's not cost effective, but the growth and production was just tremendous. That's cool. My NFT system is all PVC setup. Cool. Your system was similar. Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, I took ideas from several different, grow ideas, and I kind of combined them into one. So the idea was to create something that was grown in soil, because nothing grows better than what's in soil, but also create the way to have the aeration of the soil and the way to deliver the nutrients in a way that didn't cause root rot. So, as you all know, I'm a very creative person. I've actually invented a lot of things. There are things that you can buy today that I invented. However, none of my patents have ever gone through. However, there is one patent that I'm holding on to, and I haven't decided, am I going to go ahead and try to produce this product because nobody's building it and I want it so bad. But my intention is to hold the patent to resell it to a different company. But I have a beautiful, beautiful idea. I don't want to give it away yet because I don't want someone to take the idea. I want to have something come to market before I put it out there into the world, because every time I voice one of my ideas, they manifest very quickly. So I have filed patent and done different things, and by the way, if you are going to do a patent, the best way to do this is to draw up your designs, mail them to yourself, and hold them. You technically don't have, and leave the envelope sealed, but you technically don't have a patent, but you can argue in court that you had the idea first and you can get residuals from it. That's probably the cheapest way. I think some states have done away with that though, but it costs like 50 grand minimum to do a patent, and you want to have a good attorney to write your patents for you so that it's airtight. Otherwise, other companies will take it. That's your patent number. Good for you, man. I don't even remember what my patent number is. I got an email from them though. It's been about 15 years since I did that patent, so I believe it's up soon in the next 5 years, so I have to renew it. And I'm probably going to try to sell it to someone. I haven't decided what to do with that. I was hoping that by now, more of the technology, it's a very technologically advanced thing that I've designed. As you all know, I have a master's in electrical engineering and audio video engineering. And, this one's maybe a little too technical for me, but I think with the rise of AI, it's going to make it a little bit easier for this to come to fruition. So we will see. We will see, but I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with golfing. And I think that this product is going to be very cheap to make, but people are going to pay a lot of money for it. Oh yeah, I would pay I think I could probably build it for under $20 a unit. And I think I could probably sell it for $300 to $500 a unit. How you doing, Guinea Marie? So that's my golden goose. I need to do something with that. Henry, you've put a fire under my butt. I'm going to do something with that. And thank you all for hitting the like button. We had a little story time there for a minute. I do enjoy doing the story times. TikTok seller, thank you for the finger hearts, 4 finger hearts, and 11 of the I'm so hungry. 11 I'm so hungry. I do apologize if I miss your gifts. I'm still learning the how to read the chat and do everything, so my apologies. Thank you for the gifts. By the way, don't forget, TikTok seller has a show on TikTok. It's not like mine, it's not like a podcast style show, but he does sell products. And so if you want to support his show, go and check out his profile, send him a follow, and you'll see them pop up in your For You page. He's had a few pretty cool products that he gets from TikTok, and I have never seen anybody have such good discounts for those items on TikTok Shop. So when you go to TikTok Shop directly, you can find those same items. But I've noticed, like with him, they're much cheaper. I don't know how you get those special discounts. Maybe it's because he's selling so many or whatever. And I know that some of the discounts are timed, but I have seen some incredible deals from him. I want to buy that desk from you. I know you're not offering it anymore, but if you do offer that desk again, I will probably buy one. Let's see. TikTok seller 444 says, "Hey, thanks, man. No problem. Much appreciated. I appreciate all your support. Thank you for the 20 subscriptions on Twitch yesterday. Much appreciated. What's the news on XRP? I think it's due for correction. It could, pump again. But if it doesn't break above 264, it's coming back down to 231 and possibly even lower of about 210-ish, 212, probably more like it. And that would line up with the May sell-off, and it could even drop lower than that. I don't have a super accurate number yet, but I'd say probably 160-ish to start, and it could drop all the way down to $1. I would say that probably $1.20. It just depends on, like, if they keep artificially propping it up with news, that could just help it like trend sideways-ish like it has been, because it's basically been it's been between 292-ish. Let's say $3. It's been between $3 and $2. Okay, in that dollar margin range there for a while, since November or December, I would say, since December till now. So 6 months. 6 months, it's kind of just been moving sideways. So I think they're trying to keep it above $2 so that way when the SEC thing finally does drop and regulation and all that starts to cascade, it does send it to crazy numbers. I think that is something that they're really trying to do, but I do believe that it is possible to see below $2 again. And after the bull run is over, I'd say 75 cents and possibly even lower. B says, 50 cents. I think that would be maybe in despair and it would come back up. But I think the mean number would be somewhere between 75 cents, somewhere right around there. Once this is all said and done, it goes back to normal. Udo, you have any of those January streams recorded? I want to watch some of those. That was so cool. Yeah, so watch my videos from January. It was the day before. All right, February 1st. So January 31st, I went live and I said, hey, or I think it was January 29th or 30th. I would say it was probably the 30th or the 31st. I went live and I said, we were up here. We were up here. And that was the day I exited the market. And I posted a video and it's on there. And it said, tariffs go into effect tomorrow, expected to drop. And I said that the bottom before the reversal for this downward bearish trend that we're going to form basically would be 163. And I said 161-ish, 162, but I added a little bit more to it just to make sure it would hit. And it did. It went all the way to 163 before it turned around and started heading up like it is now. And that was all the way back on January 31st, I want to say. Why would it go lower? Bear market, I get, but the regulation would permit ETFs. Yes, but it's a possibility that $2 ends up being the bottom. If we're going up to like $10 and then fall down, $2. But if we fall, if we fall short into July and fall down to like 120-ish and then pump up again, it'll probably top out at $2.80 to $3. That would probably be the highest. I would say $2.50 to $2 may even be all it does. Because we already speculative pumped right here when Trump got into office. The day he got elected, boom, it flew up. And then the day he got inaugurated, it flew up. And since then, it's been downward. The only thing that really did any big movements was this Trump candle where he said, and on a Sunday out of nowhere, he was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to be doing the strategic reserve. And then tariffs went into place the very next day, brought it back down. It recovered a little bit and then it fell back down hard because everybody found out the news that it was not what we thought it was. We thought that the government was going to be mass accumulating cryptocurrency, which I knew wasn't going to be the case. But people were speculating that. And then once we found out that it wasn't, it just dumped. And it's been like that ever since. Yeah, definitely go check out those videos. There's a lot of them too. There's definitely more than one video where I'm like 163 months ago, back in January, when we were up at the top here. And everyone was like, this is a bull flag. We're going to all-time highs. And I was like, nah, tariffs and all the stuff that was going on. And that's when I decided to do the show. Was just right before here when we got this first red candle here. I was like, I think this was the show I did with Mega was January 19th. That was my first live show, was on Mega Crypto's live. And I was like, hey man, I think, and you know, he's like, oh yeah, we're going to recover and we're going to do all these crazy things. And I was like, nah, man, we're going to drop and we're going to drop hard. And I'm thinking 163 is where we go to from here. And obviously it took a long time to get there, but that was the very bottom. So that was a very long time ago. And that's after doing his show, I kind of just got the idea. It was my inspiration. The show went so well and I enjoyed doing it. I was like, you know what? People need to hear what I have to say because everybody was on we're going to $11 million XRP. You know, everyone was saying $100,000. They were saying, you know, $50, $100, all these crazy numbers that we all know they were just outlandish now. And I was like, I need to inform people. I need to tell people need to be getting the truth because they're being lied to. And that's when I decided to do the show. And now, what's it been? 6 months later, and we have grown so much. It's pretty crazy. I'm so freaking super cycle bullish. I have a group in right now with leverage up. We go, bro. I think the super cycle could happen because one, they are using fake news and these 90-day pause things to keep the markets inflated. So there is a possibility because if enough people, believe in it, it manifests itself. So XRP to 10,000, I don't think so. Not in this decade. Well, but I think we could definitely, see something, but I think, they're pushing those super cycle numbers to get everybody hooked on the idea that it's going to 25, 30, 80, 100, 1,000, 10,000. That's a long way to go. Look at all this. That's a long way to move up. That's just to $10. That is a long way to $10. Okay. But I think $10 could be probable, but I think they're feeding these $10,000 numbers and stuff so that way when it does get close to $10, it gets closer to $10, but also those people don't start pulling out. They're going to wait and hold, and then it'll crash. See you in Vegas. We'll celebrate together. I'm always in a suit and not a tracksuit. I wear suits a lot too. I probably have 11 different suits, and I have like 13 different belts and maybe 20 different pairs of shoes. I get a lot of custom shoes made from like designer shoemakers, leather shoes. I've had some custom shoes made by like Stacey Adams and a few different others. I have my other stuff, but I have some pretty dapper stuff. I'm tempted to wear a suit. I'm tempted. If everyone else is wearing a suit, I'm wearing a suit. Why not, right? That sounds like fun. I thought about doing the show in my suit, but I was like, no, I generally wear, like polo shirts and stuff. I'm a golfer, by the way. If you guys know anything about me, I love to golf. I have a golf cart, and I go golfing all the time. I've had several golf carts. I used to have one of those ones you drive on the road, and I would drive it to the golf course, and I'd plug it in, charge it a little bit, and have a few margaritas, and then go out and drive it and play, 9 or 18 holes. I only do about 9 holes now because my back just can't take it. XRP is the coin. No pump here. By the way, no golf here. Only miniature. I'm a big golfer. Has anyone else seen the studio? No, TikTok seller 444. You are the only person I've sent that picture to. So, TikTok seller's actually seen a picture of the studio, and it's quite magnificent. What a change from and that video we watched the other night together, TikTok seller, that was from early January, and that was after our first upgrade. So we went live for like a week or so, I think maybe 2 weeks before I put that monitor up and stuff. And we were doing, I tried to originally do the live from my computer, but I hadn't used my computer in like 10 years, and it would not run live streaming. It was just too dead tech. So I came up with a way to cast my tablet onto the screen, and we had the camera pointed at it because I didn't have TikTok Studio yet, and it was very rudimentary, very much so. And now this studio is magnificent, and we're hardlined in now with the Ethernet. So I moved that up the priority list. So all the Ethernet is run. The satellite's been set up for Starlink. All of that is 100% now. So we shouldn't drop the live anymore. And it's all been rebooted and calibrated and everything. So Starlink is linked in right now to the studio. I'm so excited. We haven't had one problem since I did this. And we did plug it in one live, and it did help a little bit, but it hadn't been fully calibrated and everything yet. Now that all that's been done, it seems to be working flawlessly. So I'm super excited. And we also have a backup Starlink. So we actually have 2 Starlinks for the studio now. So if one crashes, the other one automatically kicks in, so that way if for some reason something happens, there's only a slight little delay between, and it automatically switches to the other network. So it's pretty high tech. I let me tell you right now, and TikTok Seller will tell you this for sure, I spared no expense. The only expense I spared was I was going to go 4 monitors, and I decided to keep the original monitor. So I have a 3 monitor setup, 2 curved, and then I have the original monitor from the beginning of when we started the show. And I knew that this show was going to grow and become something much more later on. So I decided to leave that there so it could remind me where I came from. So I didn't lose sight of what I was trying to do. But like even the lighting is like super high tech. Like we've got lights on tripods with sandbags on them holding up with massive filters and everything. It's freaking awesome. They're all remote control. We have the AI tracking 14K camera. We have the audio interface, the Mackie audio interface. We have Behringer mixer. We have it's like I think I got about $3,000 into the computer, custom built computer for the show. We have the DJI equipment. We have the wireless mics, the handheld mics. We have the gimbal and the tripod and everything, all the cables and everything. And by the way, I want to give a special shout out to Sweetwater. They made this possible. They are a sponsor for the show. Full disclosure, Sweetwater is a sponsor for the show. However, they did donate equipment, but I did have to buy a lot of it out of pocket. But we started buying so much equipment so quickly. They reached out to me and were like, hey, like, we want to send you these free gifts or whatever. And there's not much like, I don't have to do a segment for them every live. I do have to mention them about once a month and give them recognition, but it won't be like an ad space. So this would be their recognition for today. So give it out to Sweetwater. You can check them out at sweetwater.com, and they have all kinds of your studio equipment if you're interested in streaming. So thank you all very much for your support, and thanks to Sweetwater. All right. So yeah, we definitely had some story time today. That was cool though. The evolution of this show has been amazing, and I'm really excited about the direction we're headed. We could be speaking at TwitchCon. I really hope that I get that. Obviously, I think the odds are slim, but the fact that they reached out to me and said that they were considering having me be a speaker at TwitchCon, I was very honored. So we'll see. I sent them my proposal of what I would be speaking on and my topic points and all of that. So we'll see if that gets approved or not. If not, no big deal. We're probably still going to be at TwitchCon. I'm not 100% sure. I have to read the language on it, but it sounds like either way, they're sending me to TwitchCon. So I gotta double check with management, but that's not until when is it? It's in San Diego in like November, December, something like that. So it hasn't really been on the top of my list. I've been more focused on the studio, but management is handling all the paperwork now. So we have now somebody to handle all the appeals for TikTok, and we have somebody to handle all of the paperwork and legalities and stuff that comes with this. We're starting an LLC for the business because that hasn't been done, and it should have been done a long time ago. But yeah, it's all progressing and moving forward. And I'll tell you though, management has my hands tied a little bit because they don't want me to get hit with the guidelines. So I've kind of reeled it back in a little bit, but not really. But the other day when I got banned, not that word, don't say that word, I'm going to get in trouble. The other day when I got hit with guidelines and we were off of TikTok for a whole week, management was like, you better not do that. They're like, if you break your NDA, we're looking at all kinds of legal nonsense and stuff. And they're like, if you're going to get removed off of TikTok and all these things. And I was like, you know what? It's still my show. And I have that creative say so where I'm like, it's my show and I'm going to do it my way. But I also do have to pay for the consequences, and it's always with my pocketbook. So I decided that I was going to make that sacrifice for you guys because I felt like it was something that needed to be done because people need to know that information. So for those of you that saw it, hopefully you're preparing for things like that. And if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. You can always go and check out the past videos are recorded. The lives are recorded and you can watch them on YouTube at any time. So if you do miss a show, go check it out there. Bearish or bullish? That's a good question. I'd say consolidation. I'd say we're in consolidation, and consolidation is indecision. We're moving sideways. We're going to see, does it want to break up from here or does it want to come down? But if it does break up, I would say 270. If it does break down, I would say 230 to $2, 210. So we'll have to see. It's one of those, don't know. Generally in consolidation, you don't buy or sell, right? You wait. Unless you get an indication of what's going to happen, it shows a formation or something, then you would either buy or sell. So we're waiting for that indication. I've been saying the last couple days, not much data. We kind of got a green hammer here, but we still got this, what looks like maybe not quite a red hammer, more like a spinning top. So the market is in indecision, but I'll tell you, we formed today's candle and we pumped up and we've come back down and we're inching towards the blue line. If we break past it, that's it. I think there's an opportunity to see 265 to 270 again, before. However, I think it's well due for a price correction, and the previous cycle would indicate that it's going to have a massive, massive drop. So if you're going off of this is a different cycle, everything's different than it's ever been, then I would say, you know, what are you kidding me? We're disconnected. I think it's TikTok. I think it might need to be updated. Are you guys there? Did I lose you? Because OBS is perfectly fine. The internet indication is perfect. But TikTok keeps dropping the live. I think it's either the server or the program needs to be maybe reinstalled or something. I'm not sure. Are you guys still there? Did I lose you? Let me know. And don't forget, if you are watching the show still, especially on TikTok, smash the like button. Go into TikTok and start hitting the like button. Viewership is way down. We're down to 2 viewers. So please help with that. We've got 4 viewers on Twitch. It's a slow day. It's a slow day today, and if it remains slow, I'm going to cut the live short today and just rest a little bit because it's been a long day. But if we can bump it up, you know, great. But it's not good for the algorithm or the stats to have these low numbers. So, censored by TikTok, how you doing? Smash the like button, guys. Start smashing it. We're at 20K likes, but only 3 viewers. It's kind of incredible. So, keep hitting the like button. If you're watching on Twitch and you are available, jump over to TikTok and start hitting the like button. Let's get these views up. And don't forget, on Twitch, you can spam the chat as well. That does help. On Twitch, if you're not trying to jump over, send emojis, send questions, send whatever, engage into the show, and that does help with their algorithm as well. Let's get into some news. While you guys are hitting that like button, being my liking warriors, I need y'all right now. Everyone come together and start hitting the live. Paul, thank you for the emojis. All right, crypto basics. Ripple's latest blog post about RLUSD's use case in the hidden road setup has triggered concern among XRP proponents, questioning Coin's role in the deal. On Tuesday, Ripple published a blog posting highlighted the use case of stablecoins like RLUSD. The San Francisco-based payments company emphasized that stablecoins bridge the gap between DeFi and TradeFi. RLUSD's role in hidden road setup. The blog post further highlighted RLUSD's role in the hidden road deal. Recall that Ripple reached an agreement with Hidden Road to acquire the prime broker for $1.5 billion. In its recent blog post, Ripple stated that Hidden Road, which clears over $3 trillion for 300 financial institutions annually, will leverage RLUSD as a collateral asset across its prime brokerage firm. Meanwhile, part of the deal would see Hidden Road transition its post-trade activities onto XRPL, XRP's underlying blockchain, allowing it to reduce costs, with XRPL handling Hidden Road's post-trades. The prime broker would leverage XRP to pay all post-trades transactions fees. That's actually awesome. The company initially disclosed this in April when it announced Hidden Road acquisition at the time. The disclosure elicited major controversy with some community members expressing concerns that the company sidelining XRP. Community asked about XRP's role in the Hidden Road deal. These concerns have resurfaced with Ripple reiterating that Hidden Road will use RLUSD as a collateral asset across its platform. Several users have once again questioned XRP's role in the Hidden Road setup, with some suggesting that XRP's function is now limited to paying transaction fees. Earlier this month, XRP community member Elena, this statement on X, she indicated that while RLUSD utility spans cross-border settlements to multi-fiat onboarding, XRP is used to settle transactions only on the XRPL ledger. According to her, XRP was once the preferred bridge asset on XRPL. However, she suggested that the coin is gradually losing its relevance, alleging that RLUSD is gaining traction as Ripple's favorite. For context, Ripple launched the USD pegged stablecoin on the XRPL in December 2024. After its launch, it was integrated into Ripple's payment solution, giving financial institutions access to a fiat-backed digital currency with zero volatility. Since its launch, RLUSD has gained widespread adoption across the broader crypto market and has been listed on major exchanges like Gemini, Uphold, Bitso, and MoonPay. Interestingly, thanks to the Hidden Road acquisition, it is now poised to become its first stablecoin to enable cross margins between traditional markets and digital assets. Ripple Exis dismisses concerns, while XRP proponents are concerned that RLUSD is gradually replacing the favorite coin. Ripple executives have continued to dismiss this assertion. And why wouldn't they? They have everything to gain from Ripple XRP going up because they get to sell it every month. So keep that in mind. It's in their best interest to, they're not going to come right out and say yes or no. They're just kind of dismissing it and saying, oh, no, but there's no straight answer. So this is a problem. Earlier this year, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse said RLUSD and XRP would complement each other, as asserted that both have different functions, noting that while XRP functions as the bridge asset to provide liquidity between two fiat currencies, RLUSD serves as an on-chain fiat. Now, that is a possibility. And I would say that that's probably the more likely scenario. However, I think the only thing, XRP won't get much value from it serving that purpose. It'll get its value from people holding it and not selling it. That's where it's going to get its real price from. Additionally, Ripple CEO David Schwartz stated that RLUSD is good for XRP rather than harmful. He emphasized that stablecoins like RLUSD are crucial in maintaining price stability. Ripple CTO also mentioned that XRP would continue to render key functions like auto bridging that favor its liquidity. And I think that's part of why XRP has been held back a little bit, is for that reason. People are wondering, aren't they just going to use stablecoins? And that's been a concern I've been stating over the last couple weeks, is I think that CBDCs are what these institutions actually want to use. For now, it's XRP still holds a place, but I think in the long-term future, Stable coins and CBDCs will be the future. So keep that in mind. Tokenization of real world assets. This is on the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Before I get into this, I want to address Jfinity's. What candles or patterns do you see to validate or invalidate a move? Nothing right now. It's indecision. We're in consolidation. We need to see a pattern form or a breakout. So that's kind of what we're doing, is we're waiting to see. But I would say make sure you're taking profits. Even if we do break out, you should be taking profits. Jfinity with the 5 tiny dinos. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. And don't forget, smash that like button, guys. Everybody on TikTok, come together right now and smash the like button. We've only got 4 viewers right now. We need to bump that viewership up right now. Come together. You don't have to send a gift. You don't have to send a donation. But if you can hit the like button, that is going to be the most helpful thing right now. Obviously, donations and gifts are, needed and essential to running the show. But right now, we need to broaden the show and get more viewership. We need to grow. Growth is very important, so that way that financial burden is not just falling on me and you, but we can spread that out to a much bigger community. But as you see in the Twitch chat, those of you watching on Twitch, there's the Steam Elements. You can click that and send a donation, or you can send the donations directly to my Cash App or Venmo. That's at OZZY12233504. And you can send those. TikTok seller, thank you for the 6 Let 'em Cooks. We've got 6 out of 10 Let 'em Cooks for our goal. We're almost there. Let's see if we can get 4 more. 4 more Let 'em Cooks is going to help reach that goal. Who's got me on the Let 'em Cooks? But also, if you can't give, just hit the like button. It's much needed right now. We need to grow viewership dramatically. Or I'm going to start cutting the show back and doing maybe like a 1-hour segment. Because if we're not growing, I'm going to scale things back here. Because we were growing so exponentially before, and we've just kind of fallen back. And part of that's because of getting the guidelines and all of that. We're kind of in a shadow ban, so we have to work together to break ourselves out of the shadow ban, get it back into the For You page. So I need your guys' help to hit that like button. Thank you all very much for your overwhelming support. But I do want the show to grow because we need to get this information out to more people. JM says XRP is trash. What makes you say that? I'm actually really curious why you feel that way, because I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence about it. Live goal achieved. Thank you so much. TikTok seller with 4 more Let 'em Cooks. Thank you very much. And don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel as well. Subscriptions also help. Let's see here. Is the subscription thing up there? I don't think it is. I don't know how to, let me see here. Goal settings. There we go. Let's do that. Let's get some subscribers. We need subscribers too. We need more people subscribing. We need more people watching. Because that is what really drives the show. TikTok wants revenue, you know? inactivity detected in my live. Isn't that something? We are just constantly getting hit with nonsense on TikTok. I can't wait till we no longer need it, but for now we need it. We need to slowly migrate over to Twitch. But I do believe that if we speak at TwitchCon, that's definitely going to boost the show dramatically, and we'll no longer need TikTok. So that's the goal, is to grow the show at TwitchCon. So hopefully I get that spot to speak, because I feel like I have a lot to say, and I feel like I could do a good job at it. And I've worked at these events my whole life. I know how they go down, and I know what works and what doesn't. If they do reach out to me and there's like a secondary process to it, again, because they already did reach out to me, but if there's a secondary process where I can actually talk to somebody, I guarantee I can talk my way in there. But right now it's all automated and whatnot, so we'll see. Thank you all for hitting that like button. Keep on doing it. Let's keep them coming in. We need to get to 50K likes. We're at 22K. Work together, be a team, get those likes up. Much appreciated. And if you are watching on Twitch and you want to come over to TikTok and help with the likes, please do. Please do. And if not, you're working or you're driving, whatever, obviously be safe. Do the safe thing, but we do need that viewership. So this is from the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission website. This was a speech that was given by Commissioner Mark T. Udea. I'm not going to read it, but it's basically tokenization of real world assets. And this is very bullish for algo. All right. Anything that does tokenization of real world assets, this is very bullish news. Go read it. Go check it out. Very interesting, but I'm not going to read it. But it's there's a lot there. It's not super long, but it's just too much. It's too much. It's a little boring. But I do encourage you to check it out. This is very bullish for algo, I would say, because it's probably one of the top real world tokenization coins. So because of that, but anything that tokenizes real world assets is going to benefit from this news. This is very bullish for real world assets. Man, I have a hard time saying that. These coins are going to soar. And that is Calvin Hill's logo right there. That's so you know where he got it from. He stole it from somewhere else. XRP holders urged to mark their calendars for this date. Dogecoin's OI sees massive 64% surge. Tether will flip Ethereum this year, Samson Mao says. Crypto News Digest by You Today. And where's it at here? Let's see here. XRP holders urged to mark their calendars for this date. According to a recent announcement by CME Group, it will soon launch a new product, XRP Futures. This product is expected to go live on May 19th. CME's plans to introduce XRP were accidentally revealed through a leak via beta webpage. Later in April, XRP officially confirmed the futures launch shortly after CME introduced Solana futures. Last July, the Chicago-based derivatives giant rolled out XRP pricing indices. I don't know. I can't see so well. which signaled the growth of XRP's institutional adoption. Actually, I should blow this up a little bit so I can see it better. The screens are farther away from me now that I have the new setup, so I'm blind. I even have glasses on. I'm still blind and can't read. Signaled the growth of XRP institutional adoption and introduction of this year. Introduction of XRP futures is seen as a key step towards potential spot ETF approvals later this year, with several major firms already applying. At press time, XRP is trading at 2 blah 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 blah. So CME futures, obviously we know about this, and in the past, when Bitcoin got its futures, it pumped. And so I think that this is a double-edged sword, though, because futures are short positions for XRP. So it may pump at first, but it could also indicate short orders coming in if things don't go the way they're supposed to with the SEC case, or just different news. So keep that in mind. It could drive the price down at some point, but I think initially it will drive it up. Initially it'll drive it up. I don't know what is up with my talking voice today. I think my my throat is just getting tired. I've been doing this a lot. What do you think of this? What do you think of that right now? Nose hair trimmer makes trimming your nose hair and pain-free and easy. Little joke. This is another one. This is one to pay attention to. In the words of Calvin Hill, pay attention. Pay attention, okay? XRP, Doge, and ADA holders are warned by Coinbase. Here's why. So, major crypto exchange Coinbase has put holders of Cardano, Litecoin, XRP, and Doge on notice. In a recent tweet, Coinbase indicated that wrapped visions of Cardano, or wrapped or warped? I think it's supposed to say warped versions of Cardano, Dogecoin, Litecoin, and XRP, which are CBADA and CBLTC and CBXRP and CB Doge, are coming soon, right? Coinbase revealed that these assets, CBADA, CBLTC, and CBXRP and CB Doge, are not yet live or available for trading. These assets are not yet live or available. We will announce their launch on their launch date, Coinbase stated in a tweet. And here's the tweet right here. There could be fraudulent actors making false claims that these coins are available to trade. The only official base contract address for these coins will be right here. So you can find this page. This is on U Today. So U.today, you can find this page, and you can click this link right here and find the actual place where you can actually buy these coins if you're interested in buying them. The exchange warned that there could be fraudulent actors making false claims that they're available to trade, with crypto scams increasing. Such pre-launch misinformation often aims to exploit user anticipation and lack of verification. And that brings me to the XPF. Okay, I did not buy XPF. I looked into it, and they want you to link a trust to your wallet. And I would say if you have done that and it's through Telegram, that was my first red flag, was that you have to click the link on Telegram and then link a trust to your wallet, and you don't even receive it right away. It has all the red flags of a scam. Is it confirmed yet? No. But I am in the same instance of this case right here. I'm shying away from it. I wanted to buy it, but there's too much uncertainty and lack of verification. So I'm just going to wait until it goes live before I pick up any. And that'll be fine. The pre-launch, whatever. It's just a hype thing anyway, so that people feel like they can get into it early. That Theta I showed you yesterday is having a bit of a drop. Everything's having a bit of a drop. Everything's having a price correction, and everything's due for a price correction. Everything just got a hard pump. So, that now is the time where you would be buying. You don't buy it and I wouldn't even say buying, waiting to see where it's going to bottom out at and then buy. So I didn't buy it yet. I'm still waiting. Thank you for the heads up on though, but I am an advanced trader. I know not to buy in the middle of a pump. Let it wait, let it simmer a little bit, let it cook. All right? Let it cook. And your patience will always pay off in this market. When you're FOMOing or trying to make these decisions, you're going to get burned, or you're going to lose out on opportunity. The best thing to do is be patient. Things always retrace. They always come back and give you a second chance. You don't have to, be so worried and jumpy. All right. Bullying only leads to self-isolation. Xi says, day after the U.S.-China tariff truce. Hold on, I gotta block somebody. All right, 'tis done. I don't really need to read it so much. It basically just restates it. But let's watch it. It's subtitled, but let's just check it out.
世界百年变局加速演进，多重风险交织叠加，各国唯有团结协作，才能维护世界和平稳定，促进全球发展繁荣。关税战、贸易战没有赢家，霸凌霸道
That was it. I think this is another one here, though. Let's see here. Let's give it a second to load, and if it doesn't load, oh, I need to give my voice a little break. I was hoping for a little bit longer video. Need to take a drink.
President Donald Trump addressed his plan to accept a Qatari jet worth hundreds of millions of dollars as a gift in an interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity.
But I thought it was a beautiful gesture. Now, there are those that say we shouldn't be accepting gifts to the Defense Department. And I would say only a stupid person would say that. Why wouldn't you do that? And so it helps us out because we'll have a relatively new plane instead of having 40-year-old planes.
Senators have voiced concerns about Trump's plan to accept the luxury plane, citing issues that range from security to promoting American manufacturing. Trump plans to use the plane as Air Force One.
My attitude is, why wouldn't I accept a gift? We're giving everybody else. Why wouldn't I accept a gift? You know, we've secured that part of the world for many years. So if somebody makes a gift, then I'm not getting nothing. I get to fly it like any other president would.
That's interesting. Everyone's giving him backlash for that. I don't know. I don't think it's good for politicians to be accepting bribes in quotations. But it does kind of seem a little over the top. So I don't know. I don't completely agree with it. I also don't disagree with it. That's for the American people to decide. And I think it's up to the legislators to decide and the judicial branch to decide if he broke some rules there. I believe it is illegal, though. I believe that they're not allowed to accept gifts over a certain amount of money, and I think it's only a few $1,000s. So that is something to consider. All right, this one's pretty interesting. Rogue communication devices found in Chinese solar power inverters. U.S. energy officials are reassessing the risk. Let me zoom into this a little bit. The risk posed by Chinese-made devices that play a critical role in renewable energy infrastructure and unexplained communication equipment was found inside some of them. Two people familiar with what Matt said, power inverters, which are predominantly produced in China, are used throughout the world to connect solar panels and wind turbines to electricity grids. They are also found in batteries, heat pumps, and electric vehicle chargers. While inverters are built to allow remote access for updates and maintenance, the utility companies that use them typically install firewalls to prevent direct communication back to China. However, rogue communication devices not listed in product documents have been found in some Chinese solar power inverters by U.S. experts who stripped down equipment hooked up to grids to check for security issues, the two people said. Are you still there on TikTok? I think the bit rate is too high for TikTok right now. I'm gonna have to have the IT guy look at that. That is interesting. Let's see here. Let's see. Two people said this. Over the past 9 months, documented communication devices, including cellular radios, have been found in some batteries from multiple Chinese suppliers. One of them said Reuters was unable to determine how many solar power inverters and batteries they have looked at. The rogue components provide additional undocumented communication channels that could allow firewalls to be circumvented remotely with potential catastrophe consequences. The two people said both declined to be named because they did not have permission to speak to the media. We know that China believes there is value in placing at least some elements of our core infrastructure at risk of destruction or disruption, said Mike Rogers, a former director of the U.S. National Security Agency. I think that the Chinese, in part, hoping that the widespread use of inverters limits the options that the West has to deal with the security issues. A spokesperson for the Chinese embassy said, we oppose this generalization of concept of national security, distorting and smearing China's infrastructure achievements. Using the rogue communication devices to skirt firewalls and switch off inverters remotely or changing their settings could destabilize power grids, damage energy infrastructure, and trigger widespread blackouts, experts said. This is interesting. And, you know, I don't remember when it was. Was it like the 90s or the 80s or something? They had a thing came out and they were like saying, oh, your toaster's spying on you because everything was coming from China. And they were finding this kind of stuff in the things from China. This happened before in the past. We keep getting disconnected. Let me see here. I may need to make a little change here on TikTok Studio. Not quite sure how to do this. I need the IT guy. And the IT guy is not here. The IT guy won't be here till like 8 o'clock tonight. So if TikTok is dropping on you, my apologies. We'll get that figured out here very soon. But this is interesting. You know, the fact that China could be sending out inverters that could be remote controlled and shut down, this could be devastating to the power grid. And everything's going solar, especially here in California. But yeah, very interesting. And don't forget, if you're watching on TikTok, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends. But right now, we need your likes. We need your likes on TikTok now more than ever. So hit the like button. We're probably going to end the live a little short today because it's going to be bad for the analytics because we're not having much viewership or engagement. So when we're not getting, you know, any engagement or low viewership, we have to end the live, unfortunately, because it's bad for the show overall. So we're probably going to call it a little bit early, but this is something to take into consideration. With China doing this, it makes me question the trade deal with them. It's a 90-day pause, but there's no deal. And the fact that they had made deals with Joe Biden and they didn't honor any of them makes me wonder if China's playing the long game and they're only squeezing us so that we seem weak and other countries try to strong arm us. Because since this deal or 90-day pause happened with China, now India is putting retaliatory tariffs on the US and no one's talking about it. I'm the only person talking about it. There are now retaliatory tariffs from India right now. And I think that they're trying to do the same thing that happened with China. They're like, well, if we hold out, we'll get a better deal. Them saying explains drones are most certainly making us a fool now spying. Yeah. They're spying on us. They have control of all of our electronics. They make all of our electronics. They could potentially be doing some very nefarious things. I gotta handle TikTok real quick. All right, I think that fixed it. Yeah, that we keep getting disconnected from TikTok. Keeps dropping. Interesting. We talk bad about China and we start getting all these issues. Very interesting to me. I find it very interesting. And this is why we have Twitch. It's a backup. Because TikTok's been hella glitchy. If you're not speaking the narrative that TikTok wants you to, but you're not breaking guidelines, they drop the live like a lot. And it makes it hard for streaming and hard for maintaining viewership. But China's doing a lot of nonsense right now. All right, Trump's trade war wins so far. More talks, uncertainty, and deadlines. The White House has said its agreements with the UK and China are starting points, but so far the Trump administration has given up more than it has gained. So not looking too good with the whole tariff thing. That's why it's only a 90-day pause, because the amount of tariffs that were put on China were unsustainable. It was going to cause collapse of both countries. And you know, this is not good. This is not good. More than a month after President Donald Trump's tariff-focused Liberation Day, just about all Americans has won is more deadlines and assurance of ongoing talks. That's all we've won, is more deadlines and more talks. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is official. No deals have been signed, even with the UK. And I don't even think there's been a deal with Israel now. I think there was going to be a deal, and I'm not sure if that's 100% yet. I'm still looking into that. With China and the U.S. has secured no major changes other than offsetting step downs of recent import duties and import restrictions. And an accord with the UK announced last Wednesday offered little beyond improved access for U.S. meats and ethanol. And that's not even official yet. The White House has said both agreements are starting points. While it's been enough to soothe international markets and restore U.S. stock gains, the Trump administration has little to show in the way of concessions gained from the agreements. And this is true. And no one is talking about this. They're all just saying, oh, we got a trade deal. Everybody thinks, oh, there's a trade deal, it's fine. Even when we had the 90-day pause, everyone's like, oh, it's a 90-day pause. There was no pause. All tariffs were still in place. It was just a pause for like 100% tariffs. They lie to you. They lie to you. They use manipulative wording tactics to lie to you. And that's why so many people are misinformed. And that's why I'm not 100% on the idea that everything is going to be okay and we're not just going to come crashing back down. I don't think we're going to the moon because none of this stuff is set in stone. It's just created more uncertainty, and people will find out. The truth always comes out, and look at, we're dropping below this line now. This is not good for XRP right here. Oh, wait a minute. The line got moved. Never mind. We're not there, but we're getting close to it. Oh, wait, no. Yeah. We're right at the line. Let's see here. That one. Look, it's right at the line. And it touched it. It literally touched it, and it came up and started to work its way back up again. But if this candle closes below this line, then that means that this is no longer support and it becomes resistance, and it will bounce up underneath it and eventually break down. So keep in mind, keep an eye on the 1-day chart right now. The 1 day is everything, but it also kind of looks like a nasty head and shoulders possibly. This could be a head and shoulders. It's not quite textbook, but I would probably say in the 4 hour, it's more like it. That is pretty dang textbook for a head and shoulders. Boom. So if it falls down here, oh, let's say 1, 2, 3 days maybe. That would be Thursday-ish and coming into the weekend sell-off. And this would line up with Friday, another little pump, and then Sunday dropping all the way down to 208. That lines up with the way the market's been moving. TikTok seller with the 4 tiny dinos, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the show with your friends. Share the show too. You know, when you guys share, it also does drive the For You page. Even if those people don't come and watch the show, you sharing it drives the For You page algorithm for TikTok. So share the show, guys. Hit the like button. Hit all the buttons you can. Show us as much engagement as you can. But we got to get up, you know, to like 50K likes and at least like 10 viewers on TikTok, or I got to end the live here very soon. And that's probably, I feel like that's what's coming. And I don't like ending the show early. I like doing the whole thing, you know, but the analytics, we have to work with averages. So unfortunately, that's just how it is. So keep smashing the like button, keep hitting all the buttons. And if you're on Twitch, don't forget to chat and engage and